Turn your attention to the scoreboard end zone where the 2023 Woodland Hills Wolverines are about to enter the field. These Wolverines use the motto, to achieve you must endure, and they've been putting that motto to use on and off the field over the past 6 days. They look forward to the opportunity to learn how to deal with adversity. These Wolverines also know if they want to enter the gates of victory, they must follow the Wolverine code, which is respect all opponents, but fear none of them. Give everything you think you can and more, and expect your teammates to do the same, because when you play as one, you can get it done. So stay ready, Wolverines. Play with pride. Play with passion. Go on in the road. This is the Wolverine. And this is the
It's another Whippio Football Friday here in Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania at the Wolverina. Hi, I'm Eric Shuley along with Jim Shuley on the call for you tonight from the Woodland Hills Football Network as we get set for a big-time matchup here in Week 1 between the Gateway Gators and our host, Woodland Hills Wolverines. Last week, Jim, the Wolverines suffered a tough defeat against the Pittsburgh Central Catholic Vikings in Week 0. A tough test right off the bat, but you certainly like to see them take on a challenge like that. Lost that game 43-7, but there were certainly promising things you can take from the game and certainly a lot on film that they can learn from moving forward.
That's correct, Eric. I would say the game kind of got away from them in the second half. I mean, they were competitive, and then a couple of long passes kind of burst the bubble of the Wolverines, and by that time, the game was pretty much in the record books. Gateway as well suffered a 21-point loss to Mount Lebanon, a team in 6A. Gateway, of course, a 5A team along with the Wolverines. So they look to avenge those losses certainly this evening. Both teams and both coaches, head coaches that is, I'm sure looking for a lot more than they saw in Week 0.
That's right, Jim, as the captains meet center field for the coin toss. For the Gateway Gators, Jaquan Reynolds out there, Donovan Biggs, and Roberson Louis June. And for the Wolverines, Brandon Jones, we have Isaiah Ramsey, Pierce Cannon, I believe, is out there. We're having a tough time seeing the numbers, but I believe that's Pierce Cannon, along with Stephen Fulwiley. And as you said, Jim, both teams facing off against 6A opponents last week, which is a tough way to start your season, especially for the Wolverines as Central Catholic, one of the top teams in the state, not even just by classification overall, right there behind St. Joe's Prep. Most rankings have them right in that second spot, but you can take your pick between Central Catholic, North Allegheny. There are a number of teams that can vie for that second spot beside St. Joe's Prep, but we'll see if St. Joe's Prep is the best by the end of the season. But looking forward to tonight, Woodland Hills has had a tough time in recent past against Gateway. Lots of losses in recent years. I believe they have not won since 2016, so it would be nice to see Woody High get a victory here against the Gateway Gators. And one other piece of information we've learned very soon before the broadcast started is that Gateway will be without starting quarterback Brad Birch, which is very big loss for Gateway indeed. Much of their offense runs through Brad Birch. However, Jaquan Reynolds is an extremely talented running back for the Gators, and I'm feeling we're going to see a heavy dose of Mr. Reynolds tonight. Woodland Hills is going to kick off tonight. The Gators will receive. Certainly want a better start than last week, as Woodland Hills opening kickoff was taken back for a touchdown, called back for penalties. Central still went on to take that opening drive down for a touchdown. So Woodland Hills hoping for a better start on special teams and defense tonight. Jacob Mraz, starting kicker for the Wolverines. Sophomore, tees it up. And we are about ready to go here at the Wolverina. For Gateway, Terrence Cole back, along with Kenny Lewis. Kick is away by Mraz. Kenny Lewis goes into the end zone, and it will be a touchback. So the Gators will start 1st and 10 on their 20-yard line. tonight we're going to see Sid Bryant as the starting quarterback for the Gators, replacing Brad Birch.
Yeah, Sid, a 6'2", 200-pound junior, is going to be taking the bulk of the snaps here this evening in place of Brad Birch, as Eric mentioned. A late scratch from the roster this evening.
So the Gators start 1st and 10 from the 20. Bryant in a shotgun with Reynolds to his right. The give goes to Reynolds. Quickly into the backfield are the Wolverines. That was number 13, Lanier Butler, on the tackle there for Woody High.
Yeah, burst right through, Eric, and was able to make the tackle before any footing could be accomplished there by Jaquan Reynolds. Off the edge.
So it'll be 2nd down and about 13 for the Gators on a 3-yard loss. Bryant takes the snap, fakes the give, pass to the left side. Nice catch and a little bit of a run there for the Gators by Derek Selby. Nice pass by Bryant under heavy pressure there. He got it out, and a nice block sealed that for the Gators and Derek Selby. And the Gators are going quick because I'm sure they saw what Central Catholic did to the Wolverine defense in week 0. 3rd and 4 coming up. There's going to be a whistle here. Brief stoppage in play here.
Yeah, one of the officials on the far side, on the Wooden Wheel side, waving the players back a bit.
Yeah, the Wolverines are going to jump offside, and that's going to be a free 1st down for the Gators. And, I was going to mention, Jim, one thing that the Wolverines did very well last week, there were not a lot of pre-snap penalties, if any. You didn't see many false starts or any encroachments. And that's something that right off the bat is going to hurt Woody High, and it's going to give the Gators a free 1st down, something you can't do when the Gators are shorthanded. 1st and 10 at the 31 for Gateway. Sid Bryant in at quarterback. He's in the shotgun with Reynolds to his right. Takes the give. Go for the screen pass to Reynolds. He's got plenty of room to run. A great block on the sideline. A bit of a late hit by the Wolverines, but no penalty. And that's going to be a big 1st down for Gateway.
Yeah, I think Gateway got away with a hold on the far side. See it right here.
Had a lot of Amir Brown's jersey, did Derek Selby, but
there, right there, got him around the neck.
Referees are not worried about that one, and it'll be 1st down for the Gators. Looks like a false start here, though, for Gateway. It'll back them up just around midfield.
False start. Offense number 54. 5-yard penalty. Replay 1st down.
Ball's going to move back to the 49-yard line. Gateway's 49 for a 1st and 15 after the big screen pass. Wolverines a little late getting off the field here. They're going to get off in time. Sid Bryant getting his signals from the sideline. Tough position to be in here for Mr. Bryant. He takes the shotgun snap. He's going to look for Selby, and he's going to have him there, but Amir Brown makes a nice play to jump in there, knock the ball away. Wasn't the greatest throw by Bryant, but when you can't expect too much from a backup quarterback who has had very little time in there, if at all, other than practice. But Amir Brown reads the route, comes up, makes the play.
Yeah, well timed by Brown there.
2nd down and 15 now for the Gators. Bryant in the shotgun with Reynolds to his left. He's getting rushed quickly. Another screen pass, just going to be over the heads of Reynolds. And I tell you what, Jim, that's a good thing because that was 6 for sure for Gateway if he was able to connect with Reynolds.
There was nobody on the near side of the field here, Eric, and he had 2 blockers in front of him. Didn't really need them because if he was able to corral that screen pass, he was going a long way.
And certainly it looks like the Wolverines are susceptible to that screen pass early on. Got hurt by it a few times last week against Central, now again against Gateway. 3rd down and long. Bryant in the shotgun. Wolverines opt to drop many into coverage, and looks like Bryant's going to come down with a sack. It was close to being a horse collar tackle there, but no call, as it looks like Lanier Butler gets the sack for the Wolverines, and it's going to be a 4th and long, and it'll force the Gators to punt.
Sid Bryant unable to avoid the rush. He looked left, he looked right, and by that time, there was no room at all and sacked for the loss.
We're going to have some whistles here. I'm not sure if we have a timeout by Woodland Hills here. Yes, we will. We have a timeout by Coach Brian Tarrant there on the sideline. As we talked about, Jim, last week both teams suffered defeats to 6A opponents. Gateway had a tough game against Mount Lebanon. You know, they started off that game so well, drove right down the field, very close to the end zone, deep in the red zone, in fact, and on a 4th and about 1 or 2 yards, tried an option, and the pitch was knocked down by Mount Lebanon Blue Devil Patrick Smith, scooped it up, took it for 6, and it was a very deflating start for the Gateway Gators as they had a very methodical drive down the field. Unfortunately, they were unable to get 6 points out of it, and Mount Lebanon got the 6 points, put the extra point up, and then after that, Gateway's offense, unfortunately, was quite deflated.
Yeah, I believe it was 28-0 at the 7-minute mark of the 4th quarter, and then the Gators at least got on the board there, but certainly nothing in the way of threatening, as that game was over by halftime.
So Gateway's ready to punt. His 4th and very long, back to receive Scoop Smith and Brandon Jones for the Wolverines. Punt is away by Blake Marsh. It's short. Wolverines got to be careful here. Scoop Smith decides to take it. Very risky play there by Scoop, but we know he likes to take chances like that. He's able to protect the ball, get taken down for a very little return.
Ball be spotted at about the 33-yard line, Eric, and Wolverines take over. Cam Walter, sophomore quarterback for the Wolverines, will be taking the snaps. See if we get Scoop Smith a little more involved in the game. He made 5 catches, I believe, last week, but he's got to have more touches than he had last week to be effective as an offense, in my opinion.
Walter in the power pistol. Give up the gut. Nothing doing there for Woodland Hills. Winning the line of scrimmage is big tonight because that is something that Mount Lebanon definitely did against Gateway. They were a very run-heavy offense in that game. Lost a lot of seniors from last year, did Mount Lebanon. Lost their starting quarterback who decided to focus on baseball. So they had to scramble. A new head coach in there, Mike Collodi from Elizabeth Forward. But they did a great job of really winning the line of scrimmage all night against the Gators. And the Wolverines look to do the same tonight. It'll be 2nd down. There was no gain there, so 2nd and 10. Play clock is going down. Woodland Hills has to be careful here. They're at 5 seconds. Walter in the pistol. They give up the middle again. Not much doing for Elijah Nesby. It'll be 3rd down and about 8. Depending on the spot, might be 3rd and 7. A conservative start for the Wolverines. Possibly want to see if they can gain control of the line of scrimmage and be able to run the ball to open things up. However, they opened things up quick against Central and took it for 6. And that's a vaunted defense over there in Oakland. So tonight against Gateway, you'd think they would want to open things up a bit. However, I'm sure they watched what Mount Lebanon did, and they're trying to mirror that. Walter in the shotgun. He's got Nesby and Hill in the backfield. Back to pass on a 3rd and long. It's going to be way overthrown. And Wolverines offense, not a very good start there. Only gained about 3 yards on 3 plays. 2 runs up the middle and decided to try and go deep there. It was old-fashioned Wolverine offense right there.
Yeah, Corday Weems was kind of held up. He ran into a couple of defenders, and that slowed him, but I don't think he was going to be able to catch up to that ball. It was just completely well overthrown.
So Wolverines go 3 and out to start the game. They will punt. Jacob Mraz back to do the punting for Woodland Hills. Back to receive, looks like Kenny Lewis for the Gators. Dangerous return man. Decent punt by Mraz there. And it'll bounce right out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. So that's where the Gateway Gators will start their 2nd drive. No offensive production for either side off the start. Looks like a flag on the play, actually, on the far side. Gateway had a little more promise to their opening drive than Woodland Hills. Let's check the flag here.
Yeah, both sets of downs, Eric, were contested in the middle portion of the field. And speaking of the field, it's about 95% in the shade right now. There's a little bit of sunshine down in the scoreboard side of the
refs
field.
wave the flag off. Definitely shady on the field. You're correct, Jim. Not much sun getting through right now as it's starting to set.
Yeah, we like to see our new 25 and 40-second play clocks in operation. Makes it a lot easier on the quarterbacks. In fact, Cam Walter took it down to about 1 second. I don't know if that was by design or not. I don't think it was.
Right.
Way too early in the game to be looking at the play clock.
So Gateway will start. 2 wide receivers left, 2 right. Brings Kenny Lewis in motion. Does Sid Bryant. He's going to look for the swing pass out to Reynolds. Reynolds makes a couple moves, but Lanier Butler closes in fast, and it'll be no gain for the Gators.
Yeah, swings it to the left. And it had some promise initially, but the Wolverines closed in very quickly and were able to stop it for no gain.
Looks like another screen pass here to Jaquan Reynolds. This time the Wolverines do a much better job of covering that screen as they take him down quickly for about a gain of 1. It will be 3rd and 9 for Gateway. At their own 36.
Gateway stays with a hurry up. Running plays in and out for Sid Bryant, the quarterback in place of Brad Birch.
Sid Bryant in the shotgun. Reynolds to his right. Takes the give. Going to look again on a screen pass. This time Reynolds, if he can make some moves, he'll have some promise, but unable to get out of the hold of George Hill and Andre Smith there. Jaden Estes late to finish things off for Woodland Hills as Gateway will look at a 4th and about 8 now, and the punt team looks like they're coming out.
So far, not an offensive juggernaut for either team. The ball placed on the 37-yard line. 4th and a lot of yardage to go.
4th and 8 for Gateway. Here's the snap. Marsh with the punt. It's a low liner. Wolverines have to be careful here. And it'll be down by Gateway at the 30-yard line. Tristan Houston on the down for Gateway. So Woodland Hills comes back out now with a chance to redeem themselves from that first drive. We're unable to establish the run. The cliche saying there was Woodland Hills on that first drive, only a couple yards, and the deep ball by Walter, they're unable to connect with Corday Weems. So Woodland Hills starts 1st and 10 from their own 30.
Nice crowds on both sides of the field.
Beautiful night in Toe Creek, Pennsylvania. Woodland Hills going to the Wildcat here. Brandon Jones with Nesby. He's going to take the snap. He's going to spin out of 1 tackle, but get taken down quickly after that for maybe a gain of 1. Woodland Hills sticking with this run-heavy offense right now. It did not work last week, and it's not working so far. So we'll hope to see Woodland Hills open things up a bit unless they can figure things out on the ground. Because right now, 3 run plays, and I believe only a gain of about 4 yards total on all 3 run plays.
It's only been about 4 yards there net.
They certainly have the size advantage, on the line, Jim. So we'll see what Woodland Hills opts to do here with trips to the right of Cam Walter in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He's going to look for Ziggy Moore there, short. Nice catch by Moore, hit hard after he was initially wrapped up by Ahmad Harris. Kenny Lewis came in to clean things up. Short gain. 3rd and about 3 now.
Yeah, they're going to give him almost 7 on that, Eric. So.
Gain of 7 on the play. Brings up
3rd and short, what you're kind of looking for. And Jones was able to make something out of nothing.
3rd and a long 2 here for Woodland Hills. They're loading up the front. I think everybody on the field knows what's coming here. They're going to go with an option. A beautiful play call by Woodland Hills. Zykir Moore gets the pitch from Cam Walter, and that's what you like to see. Offensive coordinator Cam Sadler using a little deception there. When you think they're going to run up the gut, it looks like he's going to run an option. Nope, he has Zykir Moore coming right in front of Cam Walter. A beautiful little pitch, and Zykir Moore takes it for a big gain. Woodland Hills first down and 10 at the Gateway 36.
Yeah, you like to see that, a little shovel pass that goes for a big gain, and for Woodland Hills, their first down of the contest. All at the Gateway 36-yard line.
First and 10, Walter in the shotgun. Bunch formation to his right. Give to Jones. He's able to use his speed to get outside, and a nice stiff arm there, and a very late hit by Gateway. And there comes the flag. I think that was pretty obvious there. Wolverines have to keep their cool, don't retaliate, but that was certainly a late hit on the near side here, and should be another 15 tacked on the end of the great run by Brandon Jones.
Did you see the stiff arm, Eric, there? He just mashed a Gateway defensive player.
Definitely Derrick Henry-esque there, or Najee Harris, take your pick. Brandon Jones, beautiful stiff arm there on the run. Looked like initially he would be caught, but he was able to use his speed to get outside. Oh, and I think the referees, given that they were talking about that call on the Gateway sideline, were affected because you'll see on the replay it is quite obviously a very late hit by Gateway.
Very late.
However, nice run by Brandon Jones, another first down of all at the 21-yard line, just on the outside of the red zone. Trips to Cam Walter's left.
Excuse me, Eric, I don't know how you pick up the flag on that one.
Certainly, it was a strange call there to not throw the flag. Give to Brandon Jones up the middle. Not much doing there. He may have got 3, depending on the spot.
About 3.
Marcus Williams, Dominic Wilson, Nasir Neal, Pierce Cannon, and Antonio Nash, the starting offensive line for the Wolverines, clearing the way tonight.
Elijah Fisher in on the tackle for the Gators.
Second down and 7 for Woodland Hills. Now inside the red zone, ball at the 18-yard line. Approaching 4 minutes left in the first quarter.
See if the Wolverines can take it in right here would be nice. Maybe get Scoop out there on the outside and give him some room to run.
Walter takes the give. He's getting pressured quickly. He either needs to get rid of it or decide to tuck it and run. He's going to look to the sideline. Finds, I believe, Andre Smith over there, who bobbles it. Brings it in, but only for about a gain of 1 or 2 when all was said and done. But a nice job by Walter to evade that pressure and be able to get out and throw the ball to Andre Smith along the sideline there before getting sacked, because he was really getting pressured heavily by Roberson Louis Junet.
Yeah, throwing against his body there, and he makes the completion. And good job there also by receiver Andre Smith.
Got to figure the Wolverines are in 4-down territory here.
Legal man downfield. Offense number 77.
Okay, so I apologize. I did not see a flag on the field. So they decide to pick up the late hit on Gateway, but they will assess the illegal man downfield on the Wolverines. So that's going to hurt Woodland Hills big time here, as they will be backed up to the 26-yard line.
Still too far for a field goal in 4-down territory. Make no mistake about that. Let's get a big chunk here for Woodland Hills. Will possibly put them into field goal range or give them the first down. It's a critical down here early in the contest.
Second and long for Woodland Hills. About 15. Walter on the fake give. That was read very well by Gateway, just out of the reach of Scoop Smith there.
Yeah, Scoop may have jumped just a little too soon for that one. I think he was thinking about making a move before he caught the ball, because
it's certainly one Scoop can catch. I believe you're right, Jim. I think he jumped a little too early. Just was unable to time that correctly, and now Woodland Hills stuck in a 3rd and 15. And now looked like they were moving Woodland Hills back even further. I'm not sure if the Gateway coaches were just yelling, "Hey, move the ball back more." And then it's what it looked like as the refs were looking right at the coaches. However,
both teams are creeping closer and closer to the field of play. We haven't had any official sideline warning.
Right, we probably will see a sideline warning soon, one way or the other. Cam Walter in the shotgun, 3rd and 15 for Woodland Hills, ball at the 26-yard line. Walter takes the snap. He's got very few options, tosses it off to Brandon Jones for a short gain, and it will be 4th down and about 12 for Woodland Hills, and this is no man's land, so if you're Woodland Hills, just have to go for it here.
A great coverage by the Gators there. No one was open. Walter looked left, looked right, and he checks it down to Jones. Picked up a couple of yards.
And one thing we have to mention, Jim, Gateway without, of course, Brad Birch, also 2 big-time starters on defense, Remy Bose and Steven Jenkins, both not playing tonight. 2 major players for the Gateway defense. Remy Bose, a linebacker, Steven Jenkins, a safety and a defensive back. Jenkins also transferred from Woodland Hills last year. Walter takes the snap on a 4th and long. He's fine. Scoop. Nice catch by Scoop Smith. He slips through a couple tackles and into the end zone for a Wolverines touchdown, and I don't see any flags on the field.
And we get the signal by the referee. The man in the white hat gives us the touchdown signal, and the Gators break on top.
Just a nice job by Walter here. If we watch the replay, able to put that in the perfect spot for Scoop. And as we know Scoop likes to do, he weaves through a couple tackles and uses his speed to find his way into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the year. His first, I was going to say his first receiving touchdown, but his first touchdown was also a receiving touchdown. So his 2nd receiving touchdown. Excuse me. Jacob Mraz for the extra point. Prince Tarrant holding, unable to get it down, and he's just going to have to eat that one. And I'm not sure. I think Scoop often is the holder for the Wolverines. I'm not sure. Had to make a change there, but Woodland Hills unable to execute the extra point. As it looked like it was not Prince Tarrant's fault. It was just a bad snap. Kind of bounced up to him. Not much Tarrant could do there, but he did the right thing in just going down and didn't cause any bigger problems for Woodland Hills. So, unfortunately, Woodland Hills unable to get the extra point, but they go up 6-0 on a nice play by Cam Walter. A beautiful pass to Scoop Smith on a 4th and long. Just when you thought Woodland Hills was going to run out of gas there on that drive, Jim, they prove you wrong. The sophomore tandem comes through big.
As you mentioned, Eric, the ball was at a perfect spot, just inside the defenders, and they unable to knock it down. Scoop able to take it in. There's the snap. Bounced, and Tarrant was swarmed in by number 4 of the Gators, Kenny Lewis.
Jacob Mraz getting ready to kick off here. Woodland Hills had some issues last week on special teams that we talked about. We hope they were able to work on that in practice this week, get things figured out.
Mraz's first kick into the end zone.
This one's going to be just short of the end zone. A little bit of miscommunication there by the Gators. Kenny Lewis is going to come out with it. He's going to get hit hard by a few Wolverines. As there's some pushing and shoving here on the near side. No flags. And Gateway will start 1st and 10 at about the 13-yard line, it looks like. So nice drive by Woodland Hills. Fought through some adversity on that drive. Obviously, we said from our vantage point, it looked like a late hit on the near side. Referees decided to pick up the flag after they initially threw it. Woodland Hills brushes that off, able to move on, hit with an illegal man downfield on a nice play. But they fought through that on a 4th and long, able to connect Cam Walter with Scoop Smith for 6. Gateway starts 1st and 10 at their 13. Give up the middle to Jaquan Reynolds. Taken down by Ziggy Moore. Nice tackle there by Zykir. I go back and forth between Ziggy and Zykir.
Just about a 2-yard gain on that one as the Wolverines swarmed the running back right there. No way anything's going to come of that.
Sid Bryan in the shotgun. Reynolds to his left. He takes the shotgun snap. He's going to fake the give. Had a man open, decides to not throw the ball, and he is quickly engulfed by Wolverines there. Looked like Jaden Estes on the sack for Woodland Hills.
Now this is where the Wolverines have to buckle down. They got Gateway pinned way back. 4th and a lot of yardage to go.
Mijan Rose coming in to clean things up with Jaden Estes there on the big sack for Woodland Hills. And you're right, Jim. 3rd and long. They got hurt by 3rd and long by Central a few times last week, and they could not let that happen tonight, especially deep in Gateway territory. Sid Bryant finds Kenny Lewis. A nice catch by Lewis. And this gives, looks like they said incomplete.
He came down with a foot touching the sideline, Eric, I believe.
Oh, there's a flag laid on the play. Way behind the play. I'm not sure what that's going to be. A couple things to unwrap here. So the pass from Bryant looked initially like it was caught by Kenny Lewis. They say he came out and out of bounds. Coverage by Nico Andrews there for the Wolverines. So incomplete pass. It'll be 4th and long, but a flag was thrown late after the play, so we're not sure if that was something unsportsmanlike, possibly on Woodland Hills, which could really hurt the Wolverines.
Yes, it is.
And they are moving forward. And again, this is something Woodland Hills has to be careful about. They cannot give these free first downs to Gateway. However, it looks like automatic first down. That's right. So I don't know what the penalty was, exactly of who did what, but nonetheless, it gives Gateway another first down, and you know Don Hall's got to be happy about that one. Here, and it could have been Andre Smith on the unsportsmanlike conduct. Not sure what he could have done there. It was very late. Probably some jostling back and forth, and they just decided to go after the Wolverines, unfortunately. Sid Bryant in the shotgun. Wolverines jump into the neutral zone, and that looks like Andre Smith again. Unfortunately, Woodland Hills unraveling a little bit on this drive, Jim.
I can't give them all this. If it was a taunting call, unsportsmanlike, if indeed it was, got to stay away from those kinds of things.
Very disciplined last week against Central Catholic. Did not take many penalties like that, but tonight, several already on Woodland Hills. One on Gateway that they decided to pick up for the Gators. Bryant takes the shotgun snap. Over the middle, he's got Kenny Lewis. Nice catch by Lewis as he bobbled at first, but able to bring it in all the way down to the Woodland Hills 36-yard line. Brought down on the play by Landon Akins.
Good throw here by...
Oh, and I think there's a flag here now. You know, it's hard to see these dark yellow flags on the field. I know I shouldn't be making excuses. However, it can be difficult to see.
Well,
so Woodland Hills catches a big break there, Jim.
See what the... I didn't see the signal by the referee at all on that one, did you?
I did not. I was looking downfield at the nice catch by Kenny Lewis. It will be first down now for the Gators. Give up the middle, and Mijan Rose just came through like a cannonball to stop that play. A huge tackle by the senior defensive tackle, Mijan Rose.
Just pancaked the running back for Gateway.
Sid Bryant back on it in the shotgun for Gateway. This will be a 2nd and about 15. The wide receiver screen out there to Selby. Nice catch and run for Derek Selby, and a big gain. Gives Gateway a first down, I believe. You know, this is one of these games, Jim, where Gateway really has nothing to lose. Missing Brad Birch, missing Remy Bose, missing Steve Jenkins. So many top players for them out. They're just going to go for it, and Woodland Hills needs to control things like that. They cannot allow those wide receiver screens to hurt them. Give up the middle to Jaquan Reynolds. He just gets out of a tackle there. A nice job breaking that tackle by Reynolds.
Yeah, puts his hand down, Eric, and is able to keep the knees from the ground and scooted forward for another 3 or 4 yards.
Approaching the end of the first quarter here. George Hill almost had that tackle for Woodland Hills. It was cleaned up by Zykir Moore. Bryant on the shotgun snap. It's going to be a bouncer, and he picks it up and tries to do something with it. He's going to throw it out of bounds, but that I'm not sure if that should be intentional grounding. He did not reach the line of scrimmage, so there it is. Thank you. Certainly looked like it there, as the line of scrimmage, I believe, was the 38. And he was outside the tackle box and out of the pocket, but as far as I know, it does not matter if you don't reach the line of scrimmage.
That's a loss of down as well.
This will back the Gators up.
Let's see if we can do some calculations on what this third and whatever is going to be, Eric. Oh my goodness.
We'll see where the line of scrimmage now is.
Like about 3rd and 30. They'll probably go with a little slip screen here.
3rd and 27 or 28, I believe. They're going to go with the screen, and Reynolds is going to get hit hard by George Hill. George Hill, the linebacker, read that so well. Did a little dance, and we just hope that they don't get flagged for that, because we know that's a point of emphasis this year for the officials. Anything that seems to be all about me, that players do in celebrations, they're going to go after. So luckily the Wolverines do not get a penalty for that. Just a little dance by George Hill. He was excited, made a nice tackle, did not hurt the Woodland Hills. So 4th and very long here for Gateway. I believe 4th and 33, I think. That'll be the end of the first quarter. Action-packed first quarter here at the Wolverina. 6-0 Woodland Hills. On the far side in the end zone, we saw a former Gator, now Wolverine, Cam Sadler, do a little sprint there to the corner of the end zone. I think he just needed to get out some excitement there after a nice drive by his Wolverine offense. Got 6 points.
He can still move, Eric?
Oh, Cam Sadler, absolutely. A big-time legend there in Monroeville for the Gateway Gators. So as we talk about tonight and the Gateway Gators, we're going to look forward to the rest of the Wolverine schedule. Of course, as we talked about, Woodland Hills suffered a tough loss to Central Catholic in Week 0, 43-7. Here tonight against the Gateway Gators. Next week, right back here at the Wolverina against the Penn Trafford Warriors. Then on the road, we go for the first time this year to face off against the North Hills Indians. Back home against the Norwin Knights. Then on the road for 2 more against Shaler on a Saturday afternoon. And again, on the road in Natrona Heights to Highlands to take on the Golden Rams. Back home for 2 for more conference games. Fox Chapel Foxes and the Pine Richland Rams. That'll be a big one. And then the biggest one of the year always at the end of against Penn Hills on the road. So Gateway ready to punt. 4th and I believe about 33, I believe is what we were thinking. Marsh gets the punt away. It is short. Woodland Hills has to be careful. Don't let it bounce off of any of them. Wow, very close. Very close. Too close for comfort there as Woodland Hills, I don't think, knew where the ball was and almost ended up hitting off one of the Wolverine special teams members. Fortunately, it does not.
As freshman Jackson Smith was able to down the ball for the Gators.
If you take a second look, that got very close to touching Jaden Estes. Did a good job of pulling his hands back, saying, whoop, I don't want anything of that right there.
You take it.
Yeah.
Great starting position for the Wolverines.
Off the 37 of Gateway. You're right, Jim. Woodland Hills will look to start this drive and hopefully get into the end zone for 6. Walter in the pistol formation with Brandon Jones behind him. He's got trips to his left. Scoops right there in the slot. Give up the middle to Jones. Looks like it's going to be an illegal motion on Woodland Hills. Scoop and Corday Weems were going in motion at the same time, which is okay, but I believe if we get a second look at it, we'll see where the illegal motion took place. Not sure if they said somebody was moving forward at the snap or what, but it'll be a 5-yard penalty on Woodland Hills. Nonetheless, 1st down and 15.
I'm surprised Gateway actually took the penalty here. It was stopped for just a couple of yards. Might have been better off to take a 2nd and 8 or 9. But we shall see how it folds up here for the Gators.
Same formation for Woodland Hills in the pistol. Give up the middle to Brandon Jones. Makes a couple man miss. Nice run. Turned nothing into something there. Over the right side. Gets down to about the 35. Gain gains back the lost yardage and very close to where he would have been anyway without the penalty.
Correct.
Second down and about 8 for Woodland Hills at the 35.
It's got a hunch, Eric. I have a feeling that Brandon Jones is going to break one off tonight. How's that sound?
I like the sound of that. He's always capable of doing it. Second and 8 for Woodland Hills, out of the huddle now. In the shotgun formation, Cam Walter with Jones to his left. He's got Brown split out wide left, Scoop, and Corday Weems. And it looks like Nico Andrews on the far side to his right. Fakes the give, does Walter. Instead of tucking in and running, he finds Scoop Smith, and Scoop is able to bring it in. I don't see a flag on the field. Should be 6 for Woodland Hills. And you know, that play reminded me a lot of the touchdown pass from Cam Walter to Scoop Smith at Franklin Regional last year in the playoffs in the first round. It was very similar. Scoop did a great job of bringing that in there. It looked like he might fall through his hands and through his grasp, but he's able to just pin it up against his leg there. Looks like he's working out a cramp on the sideline, is Scoop. And quarterback Cam Walter's helping him out.
Yeah, you say that, Eric, and I thought he did drop it. The angle we had it, I was looking for the ball to kind of bounce into the end zone, but as you mentioned, Scoop was able to bring it to his body and leisurely stroll into the end zone for the Wolverine touchdown.
Extra point attempt. Woodland Hills isn't going to try and go for 2. I thought they might take a chance at 2, but they will kick the extra point, try the safe route. Although, you know, as we saw last time, it's never safe. However, Mraz puts it through with authority. Gets the Wolverines up 13-0 here with 10:57 remaining in the second quarter. Been a bit of a rocky start tonight, Jim, for Woodland Hills. Some penalties, some crazy plays here and there. However, up 13-0, and you'll take that every time.
Yeah, they have stifled the Gateway offense thus far. A couple of long gainers for Gateway, but one of which was called back. Picked up some penalty yardage, but with the absence of some of their key players, Woodland Hills taking advantage of that. Up 13-0.
Certainly can't mention that enough for Gateway. You know, losing your starting quarterback in his third year of starting since he came over from Jeanette in Brad Birch, that's a big loss. And then, as we mentioned, 2 big-time starters on defense. Remy Bose, such a force for the Gators in years past. So to lose a guy like that tonight hits very hard on that defense. And Steven Jenkins has been unable to suit up in a Gators uniform yet this year since he came over from Woodland Hills. But knowing what he did in his production for Woodland Hills, we know he's going to make a big-time impact when he finally gets on the field for Gateway.
Two 5A Titans going at it here. Not in the same conference, but in the same class. Of course, Woodland Hills playing up a couple of classes from 3 to 5.
Another thing we can't mention enough, Jim, that voluntary play up to 5A from 3A. It takes a lot of guts from the Wolverines. We hope they continue to do it. We hope, that's our opinion. Short kick by Mraz. Kenny Lewis comes up to get it, and he's a dangerous return man, so we've got to be careful. And Woodland Hills does a nice job of closing those little windows and big tackles there. And Gateway will start 1st and 10.
28-yard line for the Gators.
Like Jaden Lindsay on the tackle for Woodland Hills. Woodland Hills defense just has to stay smart here. You know, as we talked about, no Brad Birch, so it really kind of limits their options on offense for Gateway. So Woodland Hills has to be careful, be smart, be disciplined. Hopefully they got those penalties out of their system, and they're able to just buckle down now here and play good defense. Bryant sends his man in motion. That's Ahmad Harris. Looks to the sideline to get his signals. He's in the shotgun with Reynolds to his right. Bryant gets the snap. He keeps it on the fake give out to Harris. A nice play there. Tackle by Nico Andrews. But a pretty good gain there on 1st down for Gateway.
1st and 5. Or 5 on 1st, I should say, Eric.
Becomes a 2nd and 5, right?
Nice tackle there by
Ball at their own 34. Give up the middle to Reynolds. Some nice tackle evasion there, but brought down quickly after the Wolverines missed a few tackles, but Zykeer Moore cleans it up.
Another key third down situation. 3rd and 6 for the Gators. Passing down, most likely.
Some very loose coverage by the Wolverines, and you hope it doesn't hurt them in a situation like this. You'd like to hopefully see some press coverage. Don't let them do any of those wide receiver screens that they've had some success with against Woodland Hills tonight. See what Sid Bryant opts to do here on 3rd down, a very key 3rd down. Unable to pull the snap in at first, but he's able to get out, and as he's looking to tuck the ball and run, he doesn't. He decides to throw it, and it's going to be short. And it's one of those plays, Jim, where it looks like Woodland Hills could have stopped it quickly. They were unable to get through, and a nice job by Bryant, a heady play, not to just fall on it. He knew he had some time. He collected himself, and he was able to roll out.
Yeah, rolling left.
And still making a decent throw.
Not a bad throw at all.
Just a little bit short, but again, from your backup quarterback who's had very limited time in there, you can't expect much more from Bryant. So this will force a 4th down. 4th and about 5 for Gateway. All at their own 34-yard line. Scoop might still be suffering from some cramp issues. We hope that's it because he is not back to receive right now for Woodland Hills. Isaiah Ramsey is back. That ball's going to take a big-time bounce for Gateway. Ramsey's going to pick it up and not let it bounce. And he just has to hold on to the ball and be careful here, and he does. But, man, does he get hit multiple times by Gateway. He was not going down easily. It was a risky play, but fortunately, Wolverines get out alive, and the ball will be placed at their own 29.
How many times have we seen that over the years where the receiver tries to make more of what he would be expected to, and then fumble the ball and give the other team a good start or a change of position from offense to defense and then back to offense again.
Yeah, Carlos Diggs came through there first and almost able to bring Ramsey down, but he wasn't able to. Looked like Mark Knight was the one to get the main tackle at the end of the play. Woodland Hills comes up now, 1st and 10. Ball at their own 29. Bunch formation, 2 Walters left. Little pitch out to Jones. Not much doing there on the left side. Gateway has that covered, but Jones able to make a nice gain there as he strings it out and uses his speed again. Such a low-to-the-ground runner that he's able to continually make something out of nothing there. We watch him string out the defense here. Couple nice stiff arms. Ball at the Woodland Hills 35-yard line. 2nd and about 4 here. Nice 6-yard gain there. You wouldn't have thought on the initial pitch. Didn't look like Jones had much running room at all.
No, it was strung out very wide to the sideline.
A little bit of a mismatch far side here as Nico Andrews has a nice height advantage over S.J. Moorfield. Walter on the fake give. He's gonna look for Amir Brown deep. He put that ball a little bit short. And it was a nice thought there, a nice play, and I think Walter thought he was going to have Jones deep, but Kenny Lewis had very nice coverage as he let Amir Brown know as Brown walked away that he was all over him with very good coverage. With his back to him, couldn't have been pass interference on Gateway. Just a nice play. Excuse me, I guess Kenny Lewis was talking the trash, but he wasn't in coverage. That was Carlos Diggs. Excuse me. Yes. Well, naturally, I saw after the play that Kenny Lewis was doing the jawing, but he wasn't even the one with the coverage.
That was Diggs.
Nice job by Carlos Diggs on the coverage on Brown. So 3rd down and 4 for the Wolverines. Gateway right up in press coverage. Walter takes the snap, looks outside, he finds Scoop. Plenty of running room there for Scoop Smith. Tackle by Kenny Lewis, but a nice big gain for Woodland Hills, and that's what you like to see. Don't overcomplicate it if you're Woodland Hills. A 3rd and 4, you have Scoop wide open there in the flat, toss it off and let him do the work, which is what Woodland Hills does.
He just outsprints Kenny Lewis to the sideline and picks up the 1st down.
Just under 9 minutes remaining in the first half as Woodland Hills is right on the edge of midfield here. Ball thrown 49 for a 1st and 10. Amir Brown split out left. Excuse me, Jim.
Mixing up the offense quite nicely through this first quarter and 3 quarters of action.
Power pistol. Walter up the middle to Brandon Jones. Not much doing there. Maybe a gain of almost 3, depending on the spot. Looks like they'll give them 2 as they'll come back to the 49-yard line of Gateway.
Stop made by Amon Harris, senior.
Looked like TJ Mitchell in there also on the stop.
And Amari Gaines.
Now, one interesting fact, Jim, that I don't know if it's, don't quote me on this, but from looking back in archives, I believe the last time Woodland Hills has beaten Gateway here at the Wolverina, 2005. There haven't been many meetings between the two of them here in those past several years. 18 years, I believe. Still. Oh, Amir Brown able to pull in that trick play over to Scoop Smith, and that's what you like to see from Woodland Hills. He's going to break the tackle, and I don't see any flags on the field. That's 6 for Woodland Hills, and boy, do I love to see that from Cam Sadler, offensive coordinator for Woodland Hills, really starting to open up the playbook, and that's how you want to use that talent. And, you know, you couldn't be happier to see them do something like that because it works.
It looked like a disaster at first, Eric, as the ball was pitched and unable to handle it. But in the meantime, as is the case in many of those kinds of plays, the defense gets caught looking in the backfield, and when you can get Scoop behind the receiver, beside the defensive backs, you're good to go. Mraz in for the point after.
Mraz with the extra point. It is up and it is good. So that makes it 20-0 Woodland Hills. Amir Brown, as you said, Jim, he was bobbling that ball at first on the pitch back. Looked like it was just going to be a reverse, but then Scoop slipping up the sideline. A beautiful pass by Amir Brown, too. You got to give Brown credit there. He was able to pull that ball in as he's moving, and then he's able to get it down, find Scoop, put the ball on the money, and Scoop Smith does a great job of evading that tackle by S.J. Moorhead to take it in for 6.
Just lays it out there for Scoop, and he does the rest.
His 3rd touchdown of the evening.
Gets by Moorfield, and you're not going to hand tackle Scoop. You try to get a hand on him, and
especially when he has a full head of steam for the most part.
He was not going to be denied, and the Wolverines are up 20-0 over the Gateway Gators.
7:49 remaining in the half. Woodland Hills needs to keep their foot on the gas, though. As we know, in high school football, anything can happen. Gateway knows that very well years ago at Heinz Field. Of course, they didn't win the game against Central Catholic in the championship, but when everybody thought they were out, Cam Sadler involved in that hook and ladder play to take it in for a touchdown. Of course, losing by a missed extra point to Central Catholic, but what a crazy game at Heinz Field that was. Kenny Lewis on the return. Short kick there. Brought up to about the 34-yard line. Good return for Lewis. And that's where Gateway's offense will start.
Is that the game that I left early?
I wasn't going to mention it, Jim, but that is correct. That is the game that you forced me to leave. I wanted to stay, put it on the record. I wanted to stay and watch the end, and we missed the famous play at Heinz Field involving Cam Sadler on that touchdown.
Well, we saw it on the highlights later that evening, so
I don't think that really satisfied me at that point.
I never leave early.
Well, I don't know about that.
It was cold that night.
It was cold. There have been colder nights in Whitfield Championship games down at Heinz Field. And we can say Heinz Field because back then it was Heinz Field.
Indeed it was.
Now the new Heinz Field over in Aliquippa. Sid Bryant takes the snap up the middle to Jaquan Reynolds. Nothing doing there. It'll be a gain of about 1. Ball at the 35-yard line.
Charles Harper in on the initial contact, and then 2 or 3 other Wolverines cleaned it up. A lost helmet, so that player will have to leave the game for just a play.
2nd and 9 here for Gateway. Bryant looks to the sideline to get his signals. He's in the shotgun with Jaquan Reynolds to his right. Prince Tarrant stepping up in press coverage on the far side. Bryant takes the snap, fakes the give. He's got somebody short. Nice pass over the middle there, and that's going to be a big first down for Gateway.
Flag on the play.
Here's a flag in the backfield as the throw went to Dyson Harper. This could be a holding on Gateway. It will be. So a big play offensively for Gateway there is going to be nullified with that penalty. There's a nice pass from Bryant across the middle, like a bit of a drag route there. Dyson Harper. A couple Harpers going through Gateway over the years. Last year, big-time player Dallas Harper.
78, Malik Anderson, the guilty party there, just reached out and grabbed the jersey.
Tough break for Gateway there on their big first down catch and run. Puts them back to the 25-yard line. As we know, that one of those rule changes. It's not a spot foul anymore. Those holding penalties that happen deep in the backfield, they go from the line of scrimmage. So, ball back at the 25, second down. Bryant gets hit quickly, and there were hands to the face there, and Woodland Hills is going to get penalized for that. Just a tough break there on that one, Jim. It was just a kind of a loose hand in the air. No ill intent there by the Wolverines, but they're going to get hit with that one, and you know Gateway's coaches were screaming for that, and the officials threw it quick. So it's going to be 15 yards on the Wolverines. Oh, they only call the incidental face mask. Very good. I was thinking they were going to call unnecessary roughness, something of that nature. But the Wolverines catch a break there with the incidental face mask. Looked like Bijan Rose, the guilty party. Second down and about 14 for Gateway.
Not an automatic first there, so second down for the Gators.
Sid Bryant back to pass. He's got a man over the middle just behind Kenny Lewis. If he's able to connect there, Lewis on the run, that could have been a big gainer for Gateway, but unfortunately just behind Kenny Lewis, and it will be third down and 14 for Gateway.
Yeah, the pass right at the sticks, I reckon. Depending upon the spot, he might have had the first down, but it's a moot point as the ball falls to the ground.
Third and 14 for Gateway. Back to pass is Sid Bryant. They're coming in big. It looked like they were trying to set up a screen. Bryant's going to find his man in and out of the hands of Dyson Harper there. Maybe he was getting ready to run after the catch and he just couldn't look it in.
Way short of the first down a little. If he's able to reel it in, Eric, like you said, he might be able to spin out a couple of tackles. But the Wolverines had that pretty well covered.
Isaiah Ramsey was coming up to make a tackle, but all Harper had to do, was make one move, and that would have been a first down for Gateway. A couple bad breaks there for the Gators. Puts them back now in a 4th and 14. Woodland Hills now back to receive the punt. Looks like Brandon Jones. Blake Marsh for Gateway. Gets the snap, punts it away, low liner. Brandon Jones is going to take a risk, come up and get it. He's going to get taken down quickly. On the far side there was Amir Brown on the coverage.
So the Wolverines will start from the 39-yard line on that crooked snap and low kick. Wolverines, great coverage there. Kick that was airtime.
Nice job by S.J. Moorhead, too, Jim, to make that tackle, wrap up Jones and not let him squeak out of that. So it'll be first down and 10 for Woodland Hills at their own 39-yard line.
Approaching the 6-minute mark of the half.
Cam Walter in the power pistol. George Hill directly to his right. Would love to see George Hill get a carry or two tonight. Give up the middle to Brandon Jones. He is tracked quickly there by Gateway Amari Gaines.
Picks up about a yard there as a swarm of Gators able to pick him up laterally and take him to the ground. Amari Gaines.
2nd and 9 for Woodland Hills. In the shotgun, back to pass. He has Scoop, but there was nothing Scoop could do there as he was wrapped up quickly by two Gators that looked like Kenny Lewis and Amari Gaines. Walter didn't have too many other options, and this is going to put the Wolverines back now for a 3rd and long, a long 11. Ball at their own 38-yard line.
Yeah, they jumped the route pretty quickly there, Eric, as Walter did not look it off. He just was out there looking at Scoop the whole time. And fortunately, unable to come up and pick the ball off, or it would have been disastrous, but not much on that one.
4.5 minutes remaining until halftime. Walter rolls out to his right, and he's got a man that looks like Amir Brown wide open. Beautiful catch, a beautiful throw by Walter, able to connect for a 1st down. That's nice to see, Jim, because Woodland Hills is going to be in a lot of those situations this year, those 3rd and long situations, and you want to be able to dig deep and find some plays that are going to work. Amir Brown finds that nice spot in the zone there along the sideline. Nobody there for Gateway, and a nice pass from Walter on the run to connect and get a big 1st down for Woodland Hills. Ball at the Gateway 49-yard line. Walter in the power pistol. George Hill and Brandon Jones, the running backs. The give to George Hill, just as we talked about him a few moments ago. A couple yards on the over right tackle there. I believe his 1st carry of the season. Of course, Hill spends the majority of his time at the linebacker position for the Wolverines, but nice to see him get a carry there. Only a gain of about 1. It looked like he maybe even got 2.
He was 1 block away, Eric, from picking up a big gainer on that one.
Certainly reminds me of a former running back for the Wolverines, Joel Shaw. He's got similar stature, a lot of strength in that running back, just like Joel Shaw, who was right there with Miles Sanders over the years. Fake give by Walter. He's going to look deep. He's going to have Zykir Moore, but it's going to be thrown short and picked off by Gateway. That's number 13 for Gateway, Carlos Diggs. Walter just got a little bit too ambitious there, throwing into double coverage. If the ball was thrown a little bit deeper, it probably would have been caught by Moore, but just a tough throw by Walter to make there as he's rolling out to his left. And just left it a little bit short, but it was a nice play by Diggs. You have to give him credit there.
If that was 3rd down, I'd say good as a punt, but the Wolverines were in a 1st down situation there, or 2nd down situation.
You don't mind it. You have a cushion right now, Jim. You have a 20-point lead, so I like to see the Wolverines take some chances. Of course, that ball left just a tad short, but again, nice play by Diggs. It wasn't a terrible throw by Walter by any means, just a nice play. So Gateway starts 1st and 10 at their own 26. Sid Bryant back to pass. He's got time. He's got plenty of time back there. Rolls out to his left. He's got a man just too high for Kenny Lewis.
Yeah, and that would have been good for a 1st down, but ball kind of sailed on him as he rolled to his left.
Yeah, he had plenty of time, like we said. He was rolling out to his left. He had his man, though, but yeah, left that just too high for Kenny Lewis. Kenny Lewis, very talented receiver, defensive back for Gateway, unable to make that play, just out of his reach.
Got to keep the pressure on.
2nd down for Gateway, ball at their own 26. Sid Bryant in the shotgun. Takes the snap. He gets pressured quickly by Lanier Butler. Gets out of the pocket on the run. And he just dumps it off. A nice play there. Heady play by Sid Bryant. Whistle's blown. Hope there's no late penalty on Woodland Hills here. Lots of jawing back and forth by the Wolverines and the Gators as we approach 3 minutes left in the half. But a nice play by Bryant there, dumping it off to Dyson Harper.
Yeah, he moves pretty well. They would outrun the pursuing Wolverines, and
a very Brad Birch-esque play right there, might say Bryant. You can see Birch do that. Kind of roll out, just look at his options, a la Ben Roethlisberger. Just try and make something happen. Under 3 minutes now until the half. Sid Bryant in a 3rd down and about 7. Takes the give. Just off, nice little slip screen there, but Woodland Hills reads it well, but they break the tackles. Woodland Hills unable to wrap up and make the tackles they need to, and taken for a 1st down. I believe that was Derek Selby.
That's the kind of play that can turn things around for an offense. You got them stopped short of the sticks, well short of the sticks, And you had 3 Wolverines there. And
Have to tackle. You
Yeah.
absolutely have to tackle if you're Woodland Hills. There's too many missed tackles there on that play, and leads to a big-time first down for the Gators as we inch closer and closer to the end of the first half here. Ball will be at the 42-yard line.
Yeah, we don't want to give the Gators any kind of momentum going into the locker room. You got them down, 3 touchdowns, and
2:36 remaining until the halftime. No conference games have been played yet, of course, this season yet, Jim, but as we take a look at the Northeast Conference standings, everybody's together. Like I said, no conference games, but we're going to group them based on overall record. Penn Hills and Shaler both got victories in their first games of the year. And then after that, everybody had a tough loss. Woodland Hills, North Hills lost a tough game to Bethel Park. Pine Richland played a very good Pickerington North team out there in Ohio, suffered from a defeat there. And Fox Chapel, I believe, lost to Peters Township last week. I believe it was 35-0. So conference play will be here sooner rather than later. Next week, of course, Woodland Hills will take on Penn Trafford, which is always a tough game for Woodland Hills. This year will be at the Wolverina. We'll see how the Wolverines fare. Penn Trafford, of course, lost a tough game in their season opener at Warrior Stadium to Cannon McMillan, another 6A team. And we'll see how Woodland Hills is able to take on that big-time offensive line that Penn Trafford has. First down and 10 for Gateway. Sid Bryant has time. Lanier Butler chasing him down, unable to get there. He's going to go deep. That's going to be a penalty. It's going to be intercepted, but it's all coming back. It's going to be 2 penalties on Woodland Hills. Woodland Hills should shave. Brandon Jones should save his legs here.
Well, there's a late hit out of bounds there.
I don't think that one's going to get called, unfortunately, Jim. It's going to be 2 penalties on Woodland Hills. We'll see how the refs work this out. It was a horse collar tackle by Woodland Hills first, and then it was pass interference before the interception.
As the officials confer at around the 40-yard line. It's going to be 2 flags, as you mentioned there. One at about the 38 of Gateway, the other at about the 32-yard line of Woodland Hills.
2:18 remaining until the half, and this is going to be a big-time gain for Gateway, as they're going to move into Woodland Hills territory with plenty of time still to go until the half, as they will look to get 6 points on the board. As we take a second look, you can certainly see the tackle, the horse collar tackle by Lanier Butler. Just kind of reached his hand out. Again, no ill will there at all. Didn't want to cause any harm, but certainly had a horse collar tackle. And then looks like they're going to get Nico Andrews there for pass interference, which I think that was minimal. I'm surprised by that call, but certainly the horse collar tackle is going to get assessed.
15 yards from the previous spot. That penalty will be accepted and will be a first down. Pass interference. Defense. That penalty declined.
So they accept the horse collar tackle, 15 yards, automatic first down for Gateway as they move into Woodland Hills territory.
Yeah, not that it matters, but that pass interference call, that ball was woefully short of the intended receiver.
As we, in a way, have to be glad they called the horse collar, because if they would have called that pass interference, it would have been tough. Yeah, it looked like on the sideline it wasn't much of a late hit. He kind of just bear hugged him and let him go, didn't toss him into the bleachers. So 1st and 10 for Gateway, ball at the 43-yard line of Woodland Hills as they threaten to score here before the end of the half. Sid Bryant in the shotgun. He takes the shotgun snap, fakes the give. He's getting rushed quickly because of the screen. Jaquan Reynolds pulls it in, covered very well. George Hill got off that block so well, and he's able to take down Reynolds quickly. Another little dance by Hill, but he did it towards the Woodland Hills sideline, so we should be okay there.
Also kept them in bounds, so the clock continues to run now under 2 minutes.
Second down and 10. Officials timeout, I believe, as they're still moving the chains. As they got, I think the chains only got moved because of the tackle there. Not that they really had to do any moving because of the result of the play. Stoppage in play here, I believe. It looked like there was an official timeout. I don't know if there was a timeout actually taken by Woodland Hills or Gateway. But as we talk about Penn Trafford, Jim, both of us watched that Penn Trafford Cannon McMillan game, on Westmoreland Sports Network, and you could see that both offenses certainly were struggling, but like I said, both teams, big offensive and defensive lines, and that's one thing that Woodland Hills is going to have to be very careful with. In the past, that has really hurt Woodland Hills, the line play. They've had a difficult time winning the line of scrimmage against Penn Trafford, and I have a feeling that's going to be a big point of emphasis with running back Tasso Whipple for Penn Trafford next week. They used 3 different quarterbacks, but most of it was a run-heavy offense for Penn Trafford.
And Camden Mack kind of broke it open very late in the game when running back picked up a long touchdown run, but Camden McMillan 6A facing the 5A, and I think they're a lot improved this year as well. Eric, do you
Quarterback
agree
Mike
with me?
Evans, certainly yes. They're a lot of rankings have them right behind Central and North Allegheny in that 3 spot. However, after that Mount Lebanon win, there was some shuffling of the rankings. You know, Camden Mack, like we said, it was 0-0 for a while against Penn Trafford. They were able to pick up a fumble about 90-some yards and take it for a touchdown, which really deflated Penn Trafford. So 2nd down here for Gateway. Sid Bryant, back to pass. He's able to get a nice pass off there. Kenny Lewis with the catch, just short of a 1st down. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. Third down and about a long 2. Sid Bryant up the middle to Jaquan Reynolds. He is hit quickly by a few Wolverines there. I think Michon Rose was in there first. Charles Harper, Andre Smith, I think, was the last to get in for the tackle. So it's 4th down, and certainly you got to go for it if you're the Gators. A loss of 2 there, so it'll be a 4th and a long 4.
I'd like to see them send about 5 or 6 here and put more pressure on Bryant.
Sid Bryant fakes the give. He's back to pass. Nice coverage by Nico Andrews, and he just sails it over the head of Dyson Harper. Ball falls incomplete. Nice coverage again by Nico Andrews for the Wolverines, locking it down there on the side, all alone there with Harper, and did a nice job to take that option away from Sid Bryant. Now, that's a situation there, Jim, where if you have Birch, maybe he thinks, hey, if I throw this ball up, maybe Woodland Hills makes a catch and we're able to tackle them deeper like a punt, you know. But Bryant throws it away, and, you know, I know there's limited time here, but still, you never know if you have Birch in the game. Maybe he makes a bit of a headier play than that, but nonetheless,
I would just take a knee here.
35 seconds remaining. I think Woodland Hills will not want to get too fancy with a 20-0 lead headed into the half. Walter will take the snap, and he will kneel it as the clock will continue to run, and we will reach the end of the 1st half. It's been a bit of a crazy one, ups and downs on both sides, but Woodland Hills has been able to get into the end zone 3 times, 3 receiving touchdowns for Scoop Smith. One of them came from Amir Brown. You'd think they all came from Cam Walter, but on the trick play called by Cam Sadler, offensive coordinator, beautiful connection from Brown to Smith, and we have a 20-0 score here at the Wolverine Woodland Hills in favor. We're going to let the bands take the field. We will return shortly before the 2nd half begins, but again, a 20-0 lead. You have to feel good if you're Woodland Hills, and you hope that they can build on that in the 2nd half.
I agree, Eric. The 3 touchdown lead going into the locker room. It's with the abbreviated roster for Gateway, Wolverines able to take advantage of that, and you just got to do that. Absolutely. Nice 3 touchdown lead going into the 3rd quarter.
Again, 20-0 Woodland Hills. We will see you in the 2nd half for more Whitfield football action. We're back here at the Wolverina in Turtle Creek for 2nd half action between the Woodland Hills Wolverines and the Gateway Gators. Woodland Hills has jumped out to a 20-0 lead here in this game. 3 touchdown receptions for Scoop Smith, the big-time receiver for the Wolverines. And actually, Jim, he has all the touchdowns so far this year for Woodland Hills, the lone touchdown in the Central Catholic game. A couple grabs from Cam Walter tonight, plus 1 on the trick play from Amir Brown. Gives the Wolverines a 20-0 lead here against Gateway. And, you know, we talked about Gateway being a bit short-handed And I think they're going to come out locked and loaded, ready for this second half because, like we said, they have nothing to lose. So be prepared for a big-time effort from Gateway because all it takes is one touchdown, and they're sniffing their way right back into this game.
Yeah, that's why we got to make sure that we can hold them as we have through the first 2 quarters of the ball game and stifle their offense. I think another touchdown, it's going to be very difficult for Gateway to come back in a limited amount of time as the second half is just about to begin.
Certainly the Wolverines will return the kick here to start. And you got to be careful. You know, Gateway, like we said, nothing to lose. Watch that onside kick. You never know what they're going to pull out of their bag of tricks with Don Hall here tonight. And Woodland Hills has to be careful, and they can't get caught off guard here early in the second half. Back to receive, it looks like Elijah Nesby, Scoop Smith, and I believe Amir Brown as well. As Blake Marsh gets set to kick. Carlos Diggs is going to hold. He'll kick it away deep. It goes right to Scoop, caught at about the 9. Scoop brings it in, goes off to his left. He's got room to run. He gets away from one tackler. Derek Selby is going to run him right out of bounds at about the 34, 35-yard line. So that's where the Wolverines will start their first drive of the second half.
Going sans the tee there is doesn't seem to be much of a breeze that would knock the ball over on the kicking tee. It's kind of an unusual situation. I thought maybe they were going for the onside kick just by the mere fact that they brought someone in to hold the ball.
And the way they were lined up, too, might lead you to believe they were going to go for that quick little onside kick, but kick it deep, and Scoop brings it out to the 34. Good starting field position for the Wolverines. Cam Walter in the pistol. Nico Andrews, the lone receiver here near side, trips to Walter's right. It's going to be a give to Brandon Jones. He is tackled quickly in the backfield. Nothing doing there for Wolverines. 1-yard loss.
74 Jacob Santo, a little late on the arrival. Didn't make much contact there.
He was the last guy
right
in.
There.
He is
Yes.
lucky to not get a penalty there because he did kind of just dive on top of Jones. It looked like Amari Gans was the initial tackler for the Gators. Ball at the 33 now after the 1-yard loss for the Wolverines. Walter in the shotgun. Again, trips to his right. You know Gateway's going to be aggressive on defense here. Those D-backs are right up on the receivers. Fakes the give. Walter gets out of the pocket. Nowhere to really go, but he jumps it over, throws it over the top to Brandon Jones. Just a great play there by Cam Walter to connect with Brandon Jones. It's a smart play. You know, that's something you see from quarterbacks with more experience. You know, Walter only 1 year of experience under his belt, a young sophomore. But, you know, that was just a great play by Walter there to use his vision and find Jones breaking out there. No man down, no illegal man downfield. Key for the Wolverines. They get it all the way deep into Gateway territory.
They're running against the right-handed thrower. Does that count as a big gainer for Brandon Jones, or was I looking for a run when I said I think he's going to break one? Are we going to count that or not?
I'm not going to count that quite yet, because when I hear break one, I think touchdown. So I think 6 points. So I won't give that one to you yet. But ball right at the 31. 1st and 10 for the Woodland Hills Wolverines inside Gateway territory. Possibly a timeout here. I'm not sure. Whistles before the play. Officials timeout, I believe. Take a moment here and look at some scores elsewhere in the Whitfield. Bethel Park and Mount Lebanon at the half, 7-6, very close one. Bethel Park on top at the moment. Upper St. Clair on top of North Hills at the half, 28-0. Struggled with Norwin last week, but they're having no problems with the North Hills Indians tonight. The Pittsburgh Central Catholic Vikings up 33-6 on St. Ignatius out in Ohio right now. And Jim, you and I both watched some film on St. Ignatius. We weren't too thrilled with their play, and we thought they were a pretty good team, but we saw Central last week, and we had a feeling Central was going to open up big on St. Ignatius in that one. So they certainly are right now with a 27-point lead over elsewhere in the Whitfield. McKeesport up on Penn Trafford right now, 17-7 late in the third quarter. NA up on Cannon Mac early, 6-0. So that game certainly probably has a different score by now. Shaler up big on Hampton right now at the half, 43-8. As we talked about, Shaler definitely a team to watch. So many starters back on both sides of the ball. Latrobe up 7 on Franklin Regional right now, 21-14. A bit of a shocker here in the first half. Central Valley 14, Avonworth 14. I think most people did not expect Avonworth to be in that game. Avonworth, a good team, but Central Valley pulled off a big-time victory against Austintown Fitch last week. So I think most people were thinking that Central Valley would cruise in that one, but it's looking like Avonworth is sticking right with them for now. Malaquippa only up 12 on Armstrong at the moment in the second quarter. And the big surprise of the night, some crew members have a vested interest in this one. The Derry Trojans up 26-0 on Greensburg-Salem at the half. So we hope that Derry can hold on there. Like I said, some crew members have a connection there. So we're rooting for Derry tonight. Speaking of our crew, Jim, excuse me. Always want to thank the Woodland Hills Football Network crew, led by Larry George, our director and producer, Joe Slick, camera operator, Cam Akins, another camera operator, Jason Rickey, doing a fantastic job on camera, Jeff Dotson on replay, always on top of things, keeping track of the game and doing a great job running those replays tonight. Cam Walter tosses it out to Nico Andrews. Nothing doing there. Just a great play by Gateway. Had that covered very well. It's going to be a loss, I believe, depending on where they spot the ball, or no gain.
They sniffed that one out right from the get-go there. The Gators came up very quickly, and just no way that was going to go anywhere. By the way, that was that Kenny Lewis who was taken off? Now he's back in there, I believe.
He was the man momentarily down for the Gators. May have just been some cramping. Cam Walter in the pistol with Brennan Jones behind him. He takes the snap, and he's getting pressured quickly. And Walter trying to evade tacklers and rushers, but he's going to go down for a big loss. Big sack there. Santo in there for Gateway. Also looked like Elijah Fisher in there, as well as Amari Gans. And Woodland Hills back in a third and very long now. Tough assignment for Brandon Jones there as he tried to square up and block Amari Gans. And Gans has had a full head of steam coming in. And Brandon Jones is a solid running back there. But when you have a guy coming in with a full head of steam like that, it's going to be tough to hold your ground. So third and long.
I'd take a shot here, Eric. What do you think?
Yeah, you have a chance now. If you get 10 or 12 yards, you can go for it on fourth down. You know, you're in no man's land at that point. Or you could just go deep and maybe have an interception as good as a punt.
That's what I was thinking, and we'll see what the Wolverines decide to do.
Walter fakes the game. He's getting rushed quickly. They go for the screen, and it's almost intercepted by Gateway. Elijah Nesby, the intended receiver, and it'll be fourth and long, and the Wolverines will bring out the punt team. So certainly not how you want to start the second half, Jim. It looked like they had a promising drive there after the nice little dump-off pass from Walter to Jones. However, drive stalls out, and the Wolverines only go backwards after they had that 1st and 10 at the 31 of Gateway. So now Mraz out to punt. Kenny Lewis back to receive for the Gateway Gators. 9 minutes about left in the third quarter.
See if the Gators will try to return this, or whether the Wolverines will be able to pin them back inside the 20.
Mraz gets a nice punt away. Gets a bounce. Wolverine bounce. Down by Nico Andrews at about the 11. See where they place that ball. Right at the 11-yard line is where Gateway will start. So good punt by Mraz. Better than a touchback, certainly. Wolverine defense will come out for the first time in the second half.
Yeah, Gateway 89 yards away from their first touchdown.
See what Coach Don Hall opts to do here with this offense. A lot of screen passes, some short passes, mixing in the running with Jaquan Reynolds in the first half, of course, without Brad Birch. It's going to change things for this Gators offense. Sid Bryant takes the snap, gives it to Jaquan Reynolds, who has a huge hole up the middle. And he fumbles, and they're going to say that he is down. If we have a replay of that, it would be great to see if the ball was out before he hit the ground, though it looked like the ground did cause the fumble there. We do indeed have a replay. Thank you, Jeff. He certainly was down, yep. The ground did cause the fumble there.
Good call by the officials. Good
So big first down run, right. Big first down run for Jaquan Reynolds. And here on this first down, a couple more yards there as he's brought down by Zykeer Moore and George Hill. Ball at the 25. Gators moving with the no-huddle offense here, down by 20. Second down and about 8 for Gateway. Sid Bryant takes the shotgun snap, getting rushed heavily. Michon Rose getting in there just out of the reach of Rose. Sid Bryant's going to throw it deep. He's got a couple receivers for Gateway. Big catch there by Jaquan Reynolds deep. And, you know, that's another thing for Woodland Hills. The secondary struggled last week on the deep ball. Again, that's just a floater ball thrown up in the center of the field. And if Woodland Hills turns around, it looks like we do have a flag on the field. I'm not sure if this is going to go against Gateway or Woodland Hills, though Gateway is backing up. We may have a holding here, a legal man downfield. You see that on broken plays often where linemen start to just drift down the field. Woodland Hills had one against them earlier. Now Gateway has one that takes back a huge play. But, Jim, like I said, you got to be careful there. If the defensive backs turn around, that's an easy interception.
Absolutely, Eric. He dodged one there with the illegal man downfield. But in the Central contest last week, we saw the secondary get beat long. But at that time, the ball was woefully underthrown, and it should have been intercepted. Looks like we have a...
Yeah, that's Kenny Lewis again. Yeah, I think maybe more cramping for Lewis. Yeah, as we talked about, that deep ball hurt the Wolverines mightily last week. It was 14-7 with about 4 or 5 minutes left in the half against Central Catholic. Woodland Hills was driving right at about the 13-yard line, I believe, is where they were when they had their first down, and the drive kind of stalled out. And they went for the field goal, and it was missed by Mraz narrowly. Central goes down the field quick, gets a deep ball, touchdown, and then quickly Central uses their 3 timeouts on the ensuing possession for Woodland Hills, as Woodland Hills ran the ball 3 times up the middle, stopped them, 3 and out. Central gets the ball right back, and they think, hey, the defense is wide open down the middle of the field again, so we'll try it again. They go to Peter Gonzalez for 6 more points, and Central took that 22-point lead into the half, and it was just too much to overcome for the Wolverines. But they were right in that game, but that deep ball just really, really hurt the Wolverines last week. It's something that they're going to have to be careful of moving forward. So there was some shakeup this week in the Post-Gazette 5A rankings. The Gateway Gators were number 1, but after they suffered that defeat against Mount Lebanon, they moved down a couple spots. The Penn Hills Indians, after an impressive win over 6A Seneca Valley, take the top spot right now. Peters Township slides into number 2 after a victory over Fox Chapel. As we mentioned, Gateway just dropped a few spots as the Post-Gazette still keeps them in their top 5. Pine Richland at number 4 after facing off against a great team in Pickerington North, as we mentioned. And Bethel Park in at number 5 into the rankings after they had a nice victory over North Hills. And as we spoke about next week against Penn Trafford, we will be here September 8th as the Warriors come into the Wolverina for a big-time matchup. Again, we mentioned they're suffering. They're down right now 17-7 against McKeesport. So we'll see what happens in the rest of that one and if they could possibly come into the Wolverina 0-2. And I'm not sure the last time Penn Trafford started a season 0-2. I'm sure John Ruane would be hungry for a victory if that were the case, and he's going to have his team ready no matter what next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We'll be right here for it on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
So back to action here. 2nd and long for the Gators. Sid Bryant getting rushed again. It looks like a screen pass. Woodland Hills covered it pretty well. Amir Brown got in there and almost intercepted it. It was a little bit short, unable to make the play. It looked like the intended receiver may have been Ahmad Harris there if we get a second look.
A lot of pressure there by the Wolverine defense.
It was Ahmad Harris, and Amir Brown almost jumped that.
Very close.
With 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter, it's a 3rd and about 12 for Gateway. Another big chance to get a stop for the Wolverine defense. They fake the give. They're going to get it out, and a nice grab there on the sideline by Dyson Harper, but it looks like he's going to be a few yards short. They're going to come up, and at least they're going to try and get the Wolverines to jump offside here. Nope, they're going to go for the punt. It looked like they were moving quick. They might try and get up there, hard count, try and get the Wolverines to jump, but Don Hall's going to play it safe, at least temporarily, and go for the punt. And based on the formation, I don't think we'd see a fake at this part of the field and with some of the up men for Gateway. But it is a non-conference game. That's why you could see something wacky. You never know. Looks like a timeout here by Coach Brian Tarrant on the sideline. Didn't like what he saw from the formation there. The Wolverines wanted to just take a breather on this 4th and about 5, or a long 4 for Gateway. And as we look forward to next week again, Jim, Penn Trafford has had their way with Woodland Hills the past several years. Last year, Woodland Hills suffered a tough defeat on the road at Warrior Stadium. But this year, Penn Trafford a little bit more inexperienced. We'll see how Woodland Hills is able to do against that Penn Trafford Warrior offense. We talked about it before, using 3 different quarterbacks in that first game, including a freshman. So Ruane's trying everything. It's gonna be a heavy dose of a run, but you're gonna see the Penn Trafford try and mix things up here and there. They like to do misdirection. They like to change it up. So I think they're going to come in ready when they face the Wolverines next week.
That'll be a good one. We'll be right here at the Wolverina next Friday night at the regular time, 7 p.m. for Woodland Hills Football Network. And coming up a few yards short of the first down.
So 4th down for Gateway. A low snap that bounces up to Marsh, and he is going to get hit hard by the Wolverines there. As I don't think Blake Marsh was ready for that one, as the snap just not very good for Gateway. Luckily, Marsh is able to hold on to it, though it doesn't really matter because Woodland Hills is still going to have great field position. However, it could have ended a little worse if Linnea Butler would have been able to pick that up and scoop it up for 6, but Woodland Hills will start at the 10-yard line. It will be 1st and goal for Woodland Hills.
Yeah, you see what happens when you got several of your key players out due to injury or whatever, and just way out of sync here, the Gators.
Woodland Hills will actually start on the 12. Excuse me, I said the 10. I thought that's where they would spot the ball, but they're going to spot it just outside the 10 at the 12-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 10 at the 12. Walter, little miscommunication there, and he's going to get sacked. Hit hard by Amari Gans. He looked like he was waiting for Andre Smith to turn around. From the get-go, Jim, that play just wasn't meant to work. Looked like a miscommunication here where Jones goes left. Walter's expecting him to be right. He's not there. He's waiting for Smith to turn around. If he lofts that ball up there, I think he would have had Andre, because Andre did turn around just after Walter decided to tuck it. But that big sack puts the Wolverines back now for a 2nd and very long. So Gateway's feeling a little bit better now after that bad snap on the punt.
I actually saw 2 Wolverines open in the end zone, but just not quite enough time for Walter under severe pressure.
They were in on him right away, Jim. I don't know if somebody missed an assignment, a blocking assignment or what, but Walter had no time there. Power pistol. Walter's going to give it to Jones. Nothing doing there. So it'll be a 3rd and long. The Wolverines, they have a lot to work on. They're up 20-0 right now, but they've had a number of possessions where they have really mishandled a series of downs, and they haven't been able to move forward a number of times. So it's a little bit concerning for Woodland Hills tonight. Nonetheless, they do have a 20-0 lead. We've seen some very good things from the offense, but also some sloppy play. Just under 6 minutes in the 3rd quarter remaining.
Yeah, they gave away several good field positions throughout the first almost 3 quarters now.
3rd and long for the Wolverines. Walter takes the snap. He's got time. He's going to try and he gets flushed out of the pocket. He's going to dump it off. Not really anything to do there for Brandon Jones as he tries to get away from a couple tacklers. He gets about 4 yards there. It'll be 4th down. Looks like they're going to bring on the field goal unit here. The ball will be right at about the 15. So you're looking at about a 25-yard field goal here for Jacob Mraz. Sorry, 32-yard field goal here for Jacob Mraz.
Up to the 5-minute mark in the 3rd. Wolverines will line up. Slight angle to the left.
Snap. Hold is down by Smith, and it's blocked by Gateway. It's picked up by Gateway, and that ball is going to be placed out at the, I believe, the 37 after the blocked field goal there. So again, a lot to work on here, Jim, for the Wolverines. There's some sloppy play. They're letting Gators through to block the field goal there. Moving backwards when they have great field position. Certainly a lot that can be fixed. And again, it's only week 1 after week 0. You want these games to work out the kinks and move forward towards conference play, but there's some concerns here tonight.
Definitely are. They've squandered some good field position and a couple of big sacks and a blocked field goal. Those are the kind of things, of course, that the Wolverines need to avoid, giving Gateway some motivation.
Ball at the 37. Gateway starts now 1st and 10. Fakes the give to Reynolds. Sid Bryant over the head of Kenny Lewis. He did have Lewis open there, but pretty good coverage by the Wolverines as they were closing in fast.
Yeah, it would have to have been a perfect pass because the Wolverines were in on Bryant right here. Yeah. And he sails it into the Wolverine bench.
Sid Bryant now with trips to his left. Takes the shotgun snap, gives it to Jaquan Reynolds, who misses a few tacklers. A nice chunk of yardage there by Jaquan Reynolds, about a 9-yard gain. Actually, no, they're going to move it forward. It might be a first down. It is a first down, Jim. I'm surprised. Did not think he got enough there for the first down, but they're going to give it to him. First down, Gators. Give to Reynolds again. Not much doing on that carry. Nice job by Michon Rose and Charles Harper getting in there fast. Last week, Reynolds only 8 carries for 35 yards. A couple grabs for him through the air, 3 receptions for him, but only 7 yards. As again, we talked about Mount Lebanon's defense, how they really dominated that game against Gateway outside of the first and last drive for Gateway. Sid Bryant, nice catch by Dyson Harper there along the sideline. Amir Brown unable to bring him down on his own. Needs some help from some Wolverines, and that's a big first down for Gateway. Approaching 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter, and there's plenty of time here, Jim. The Wolverines have to be careful. They're playing with fire right now as the Wolverine is down. Looks like it's to work out some cramps.
Yeah, they certainly have, to this point anyway in the third, have taken their foot off the gas pedal and have allowed Gateway to at least be able to move the ball.
Well,
when you get
excuse me. I was going to say, with that great field position that the Wolverines had, you had a chance to just end the game right there. You get in, you get up 27-0. You can pretty much call it a night. But Wolverines, I think, got a little bit too cute there. Thought that they could maybe just waltz their way into the end zone with some basic run plays, and unfortunately, sack and penalty, and Wolverines only went backwards. And after the blocked field goal, too, that's just not where you want to be right now if you're Woodland Hills, looking at this game not just by the score, but looking at it in terms of what they've done as a whole and looking forward to the teams they're going to face, and keeping in mind, again, this Gateway team is without their star quarterback, Brad Birch. So it'll be a first down now. Ball at the 37-yard line of Woodland Hills. Sid Bryant back in the shotgun. Give goes to Reynolds. It is Amari Gans this time. He breaks a big run down to the 20-yard line. And here come the Gators, knocking on the door, looking to get within 2 scores.
I think you got to tackle the ball in that situation, Eric. He didn't know where the defense was, and carrying that ball in the right hand. And
give goes to Gans again, but
yeah.
Nice job there coming up, knifing in Zykir Moore, getting the tackle in the backfield. It'll be second down and about 12. Gators still moving fast. Wolverines making some substitutions. Brian Tarrant told to back off the field there. Sid Bryant back to pass. He's getting rushed. He gets the ball off to Gans on the screen. He's got room to run, and he's got speed. A stiff arm there. Taken down out of bounds. not a late hit as he was wrapped up inbounds, and they just kind of, the momentum carried them out of bounds for a gain of about 2 or 3 there for Gateway. Looks like a Wolverine down on the sideline. And a Gator down at about the 15, working through some cramps on this semi-humid evening. There is a breeze, but it's not as bad as last week, but certainly there is some humidity in the air and some heat. 2:46 remaining in the third quarter. Woodland Hills still up 20-0, holding on to that lead. This has not been a pretty performance by the Wolverines in the second half, Jim.
No, it hasn't. They've had some really, really big opportunities, especially when they began 1st and 10 at about the 14-yard line, and Walter was sacked, and then there were some plays that really didn't amount to too much, and then finally the blocked field goal.
So this will be a 3rd down for Gateway, and this is a chance for the Woodland Hills defense to really make a statement here and stop the Gators in their tracks. If they're able to get into the backfield, you expect a pass, though you never know with Gateway. They've been running the ball pretty well here in the second half. They could try to get 5 or 6 here and then go for it on 4th. So you don't know what to expect, but I would think that they're going to pass, and you need to get pressure on Bryant here. Get him under pressure, send a few linebackers, go all out on the blitz here, and you can really put the nail in the coffin on this drive if you could back them up for a 4th and 20, say. Third down and long here for Gateway.
In any event, they look like they would most obviously be in 4-down territory here.
Oh, certainly down 20-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're even think about kicking a field goal. So Woodland Hills has to be careful here on defense. Just don't let anything go deep. And the Gators back on the field and ready for a big 3rd down here. 20-0 your score, but Gateway has had the better part of this second half, and they have got Woodland Hills on their heels here. Sid Bryant in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He does give it to Reynolds, who's able to get a few yards up the gut. And like we talked about, Jim, I think their approach there was, let's see if we can get a nice chunk and then go for it on 4th and play it safe by keeping it on the ground. But the Wolverine defense does a nice job of plugging that hole in the middle and not allowing Jaquan Reynolds to break through. Nasir Neal in there, Zykir Moore. So a 4th down and 11 here. This is pretty big for the Wolverines and the Gators. Woodland Hills needs a stop. Clock approaching 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Sid Bryant in the shotgun. Fakes the give to Jaquan Reynolds. He's got a few Gators open. Deep in the end zone. It is dropped, and I do not see any pass interference. Well, you know what, Jim? That was a nice throw by Sid Bryant. He put it right on the money to Derek Selby. And it looked like just good coverage by the Wolverines. Got an arm in there, able to break it away from Derek Selby. And you can take a breath now if you're Woodland Hills. Ball back in their hands. I don't know if that was Amir Brown. I'm not sure who the cover. It may have been Nico Andrews now that I'm taking a look at who's getting the high fives on the sideline. Nonetheless, good coverage by the Wolverines. No pass interference call. It's broken up, and the Gators come out of that empty. And that's a tough pill to swallow there if you're Gateway, because that was a nice drive they put together against the Woodland Hills defense.
Looks like Gateway coaches looking for a pass interference call on that one. That would be my assessment of the hand waving by the coaches.
1st and 10, ball at their own 21. Woodland Hills bunch formation to Cam Walters left. He fakes the give. Nobody really there. Cam Walters going backwards. He evades one tackle. He's just got to throw the ball away, which he does. Luckily gets it away as he was getting tracked down fast by Gators. And Jim, it is very concerning the fact that Cam Walters has been under duress all night. I know this line is a bit inexperienced. You got some new starters there, and this is only week 1, but you hope that they can shore things up heading into next week, because as we talked about, Penn Trafford, if they have one thing that's their strength this year, it is their offensive and defensive lines, and they're not going to have any mercy on Woodland Hills next week.
That's number 11, Mark Knight, for the Gators. Thought it might be a little worse than a cramp from his initial response to the coaches coming out there, and hopefully Knight will be able to take himself off the field. I agree, Eric. It kind of surprises me that Walter has been under so much pressure, especially here in the third quarter and in the late stages of the second quarter.
I think a lot of what that comes down to, Jim, is the fact that some of these linemen are going both ways. And it is difficult to do that. You know, we say it again, Woodland Hill's a 3A school playing up to 5A. They have a smaller roster than they have in years past. Some of these guys have to go both ways, especially with the lack of depth on the lines for Woodland Hills. They have depth when it comes to skill players, but line, they are pretty thin. So you're going to see all night guys like Nasir Neal and Marcus Williams and Antonio Nash especially. They're going to be going both ways, and that's difficult to do, and it's really difficult to do a good job with and to be able to protect Cam Walter on a regular basis.
Agree, and of course looking at the rosters coming in, a lot of young talent on both sides of the ball. Not very many seniors listed on the rosters for both teams, so we have a lot of juniors, sophomores, and even some freshmen as they continue to work on number 11, Mark Knight.
Yeah, Mark Knight, a junior himself, a big-time contributor for the Gators. But you're right about that. Definitely a lot of young talent on both of these squads. And the one thing that concerns you, though, for the Wolverines is that line. We talked about the lack of depth. Well, most of the line are seniors. So that's something that's, you don't want to think too far ahead, but you hope that they've got some younger Wolverines coming up, ready to play offensive and defensive line, because when you look at the line right now, Michon Rose, senior, Pierce Cannon, senior, Nasir Neal, senior, Antonio Nash, senior, Dominic Wilson, senior. So they're going to lose a lot moving forward when it comes to the offensive and defensive lines. Mark Knight still getting worked out on the side, on the near side here with those cramps. Just got another score in. It was a more updated one from before. Avonworth has taken the lead on Central Valley, 21-14. Bit of a shocker there right now. I believe it is in fact in the fourth quarter too, early in the fourth quarter, but that could be a big-time upset brewing.
The Antelopes,
a 3A team playing a 4A team. Would be an impressive victory if Avonworth is able to pull that one off.
You know, they put out good teams in just about every sport, Avonworth. They are a winning school when it comes to the different sports that they do play in.
Certainly a good athletic department there. The final coming in, the first one that I've seen, McKeesport getting the victory over Penn Trafford, 17-7. So Penn Trafford will indeed come into the Wolverina next week, 0-2. Lost to Cannon Mac the first week and now lost tonight to McKeesport. So like we said, Lorraine will have his men ready to come in for a victory.
They haven't scored many points, have they, in their first two outings?
That is correct. Shut out against Cannon Mac, and of course tonight only scoring 7 points. But like we said, they have a young team, depth on that offensive line, but skilled players are overall pretty young for the Warriors. They're always a formidable opponent, and the Wolverines cannot take them lightly next week. So it looks like Mark Knight off the field, able to walk off under his own power. That is great to see. As the Wolverines get set for a 2nd down and 10 at their own 21. And there's movement by Elijah Nesby. Probably a false start here, though. It did look like Gators moved as well, so we're going to see what they call. And the Wolverines are moving forward. It looks like it will, in fact, be on the Gators.
Defense, 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
So it'll be 2nd down now and 5. Looks like Gators jumped into the neutral zone. They did just a hair before Elijah Nesby moved there. Good break there for the Wolverines, as now they get 5 yards there. So it'll be a 2nd and 5.
Got to convert this one and pick up a fresh set of downs.
Bunch formation to Cam Walter's left. He's in the shotgun. The pitch to Nesby. A little bit of running room as he turns the corner, and he makes a nice little juke there to get some extra yardage out of it there. When you just thought he was going out of bounds, he's able to reverse his field a bit.
Flag on the play.
Thank you, Jim. Flag in the backfield. That'll be a holding on the Wolverines. Push him back.
Holding. Offense number 7. 10-yard penalty from the practice spot.
Like Zacchaeus Moore on the hold for the Wolverines. Yeah, definitely got a lot of jersey there of Elijah Fisher.
You think so?
He did, though it was pretty inconsequential to the play. I don't think it really mattered. But he did get some jersey there of Fisher, so that's going to back up the Wolverines now. 2nd and 15. Power pistol formation, 1:45 left in the third. Cam Walter takes the snap. He's just going to give it up the middle to Nesby. Not much doing there as he breaks through a tackle. No whistle, Elijah Nesby. He tricked us all. He's going to take this one all the way. It looks like 85 yards. Touchdown, Elijah Nesby. Boy, was that impressive, Jim. I mean, just it looks like he is taken down and his forward progress was stopped, but it wasn't. The officials hold the whistle, thank goodness, and he's able to break through as we watch on the replay. Look at him just keep fighting forward. Looks like the Gators had him wrapped up, but they didn't. And Elijah Nesby, a very impressive 85-yard touchdown run for Woodland Hills.
Wow, showing a lot of speed down the sideline. He just completely outran the secondary.
So that puts Woodland Hills up 26-0. Looking to tack on the extra point to make it 27. Mraz, kick is up. It is good. That makes the score 27-0. Matches Mraz's number on his back, 27, as the Wolverines get close to the end of the third quarter with that big Elijah Nesby run. And, you know, Elijah Nesby is a fantastic athlete, Jim. We saw him so much in that first game last year in the Week 0 game against William Penn York, but then didn't see much of him for the rest of the season. But he did have some touchdown runs in that game, and he looked great. And that really looked like it was very similar to his first touchdown run in that game last year, Week 0, where you could see that burst of speed and that acceleration from Nesby. Very impressive. And as we know, Woodland Hills always has a stable of running backs. This year, obviously Brandon Jones, the starter, but Elijah Nesby is right there making his case to get a decent amount of carries as the season rolls along. We know Andre Smith has done some work in the backfield for the Wolverines over the years. Now George Hill got a carry tonight. We look to see him get some more carries as the year rolls along, but just a fantastic run and no quit there from Elijah Nesby.
Yeah, and by far the play of the game by Nesby as he squirted out from among several Gators, and there were some Wolverines in that bunch as well, but out comes Nesby and outruns everyone on the Gator side of the ball, and Morales ends it with an extra point that is good and a 27-0 Wolverine score.
Set to kick off here from right to left. Mraz. Ball is on the tee and we're ready to go. Short kick by Mraz. It takes a bounce. Pulled in nicely there by Gateway. Room to run. Another big juke there. Mraz tries to tackle. Can't take him down. And a beautiful return there by Terrence Cole.
Flag on the play.
I don't see a flag on the field. I saw the holding you were talking about, but I don't see any flags.
Right down here.
It was blocking. Thank you. Good call.
On the Gateway side.
Looked like it was in the mass of Gators right there, in and amongst those student athletes. At the 41-yard line, looks like it's going to be a hold on Gateway, I would expect. But at the end of the return, so they're still going to have very good field position here. So Gateway, after the very nice return by Terrence Coles, took a bounce. He did a nice job pulling it in. And the Wolverines a little over pursuing there. And a great move there by Elijah Fisher on that, by Terrence Coles on that juke. And they're going to start out at their own 49 after the penalty. Sid Bryant looks to the sideline, getting his signals. Bryant gets the ball out quickly to Derek Selby. but not able to get past the second and third Wolverines there. Antonio Nash in on the hit along with George Hill, and Hill is down. We hope that he's all right because he is a key part of this Wolverine defense. He gets up pretty quickly. And the Gators in the hurry-up offense.
That snap came well after the play clock had expired there.
Good catch there, Jim. All at the 49 of the Wolverines, but Jaquan Reynolds is swallowed up by Michon Rose there in the backfield. And that's a generous spot there for Gateway as the ball's going to go back to the 48, but it looked like where he was hit was even deeper in the backfield by Rose. But nonetheless, it'll be a third down and about 11. And the clock is at 20 seconds. I think they're going to try and get one more play in here, given that they are down 27-0 right now. 10 seconds on the clock. Sid Bryant gets the snap on this third and long. He's got time. He airs it out there deep. He's got a man. That's Kenny Lewis. A beautiful pass there by Sid Bryant. Kenny Lewis makes a couple Wolverines miss all the way down to the 10-yard line. And that's how we're going to end the third quarter. Just a beautiful pass there by Bryant. The Wolverines are unable to get pressure. He's able to be a little bit comfortable back there. You know, and that's another one of those situations there, Jim, where George Hill's unfortunately just sitting in the middle, where if he would have come up the gut there, I don't think Bryant would have had any chance to get that pass off. And the Wolverines secondary breaks down a bit there, and a beautiful pass there, pulled in by Kenny Lewis. It'll be first and goal at the 10, I believe, depending on the ball placement for the Gators to start the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I would think the Gators in good field position, but you're right with your point there, Eric. The Wolverines really have nothing to lose by rushing 5 or 6 and putting more pressure on Bryant.
Especially when we haven't seen George Hill in the middle blitz at all this year. I'm sure he has a couple times that I can't remember from the Central game, maybe, or tonight, but for the most part, he's sitting back in coverage, and you got to use his speed and his strength and get in there, and especially against a backup quarterback. I mean, a situation like that on a third down, when you know they're probably going to throw the ball deep, he's going to need some time for his receivers to run their routes. Getting in there quick, I think, would have been the better call. It's easy to say in hindsight, but you could see that Bryant had plenty of time to air that ball out there, whereas if the Wolverines send a linebacker or two, he's going to be under pressure and probably get flushed from that pocket at the very least.
Yeah, he's a heck of a defensive weapon. You hate to see him not be able to make plays.
So first down for the Gators. Over the top, there goes Bryant out of the end zone. It'll fall incomplete.
The kick is good through the uprights.
Hopefully the Woodland Hills scoreboard staff is able to fix the quarter right now. It says the 5th quarter. So that's why we're pulling that onto our score bug. Should say the 4th, of course. So it'll be second down and goal for the Gators at the 10.
Oh, almost intercepted.
Thrown behind the receiver.
Bryant's pass intended for Kenny Lewis goes incomplete. Coverage by the Wolverines.
Incomplete pass. Gators have a third down and goal at the 10.
Obviously, they'll get 2 cracks at it here.
Sid Bryant takes the shotgun snap. Just a quick little pass over inside there to Ahmad Harris as he cuts up the middle. Gets a few yards there, up to about the 5, but it's going to be a 4th and goal from the 5-yard line. Nothing to lose here for Gateway.
Not at all. I think it'd be a good stand, though, if the Wolverines can keep him out of the end zone here, despite the score.
Sid Bryant brings Lewis in motion, takes the snap, rolls out to his right immediately. He goes backward pass there in the air, and it drops incomplete. You know, he had him there, Jim. He did. He definitely had Ahmad Harris open. Nice coverage by Jones, but I believe it was Brandon Jones. And he was able, yes, it was. Brandon Jones on the coverage. He closed quickly enough, and that ball just kind of hung up there. Just enough time for Jones to get there, close in, and knock the ball down. Not a bad play design there. I like kind of getting everybody rolling out to the right there, and a little bit underthrown to there by Bryant, but a tough throw to make for Sid Bryant off his back foot across the field, basically. But I do like the play call from Gateway. They're a little bit misdirection, but Brandon Jones does a nice job in coverage closing in. So the Wolverines defense makes a stand, as you talked about, Jim. A nice bit of confidence there after not the cleanest second half so far for the Wolverines. But they will start in the shadow of their own end zone. Literally, it's pretty dark back there for the Wolverines. And Walter is out of the game, given that it is 27-0. They go to Landon Akins at quarterback. He gives to, I believe it is Jones up the middle.
Nice little gain there of 5, maybe 6.
Get some breathing room, certainly.
Now going back to the previous play, almost looked like offensive pass interference there.
Just a bit. It did look like he made some contact, did Harris, but
with the score being as it is and kind of a chippy call to make.
Sure, it would have been declined anyway, I guess, in that scenario.
Well, they would intercept it in the end zone, so they would have been to the 20.
Handoff up the gut to Jones. Gets about 4 there.
Oh, he's close.
Maybe 5, depending on the spot.
Very close to the first down. 3rd and less than 1.
3rd and inches here.
Who do we have in at quarterback?
Landon Akins in at quarterback for the Wolverines.
Landon Akins.
Number 14. Got an Akins at quarterback, and we got an Akins on camera. That being Cam Akins.
I say a keeper for Mr. Akins.
Could be, or George Hill is out there, the big-bodied back. We may see him get a carry here. Try and muscle forward. He does get the ball, but you know what? He's not going to get that first down. So Woodland Hills is going to have to punt here. And you know, it's a situation there, Jim, where you wish that Woodland Hills had some I formation back in their playbook. You know, for a long time they stuck with the I formation. Then they went to the shotgun mostly and the pistol, and they kind of stay there no matter what. And that's somewhere where you probably need the I formation to really load up the line, maybe have George Hill in there as the fullback to get a full head of steam instead of taking that inside handoff where he kind of has no full head of steam going into it when he grabs the handoff from Akins, you know. So that's a tough situation to be in there. And again, Woodland Hills offense kind of stalls out. High snap, but Ross pulls it in nicely. Gets a wobbly punt off, but still is able to get it off, and Kenny Lewis comes up for the slide and catch. And that's where the Gateway Gators will start at about the 42. See where they place the ball. Lewis is down right now. Certainly hope it's just a cramp, but it was kind of an awkward slide there as he got a fair catch. Maybe his toe got caught in the turf there. It does look like he's grabbing for his calf, though, so probably, yeah, just a cramp there for Mr. Kenny Lewis.
8:48 remaining in the ball game, and certainly appreciate all of the fans of the Woodland Hills Wolverine and the Gateway Gators for tuning in this evening on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
27-0 here right now, your score, 8:48 remaining in the game. Next week, the Gateway Gators go back home to Antamarino Stadium to take on the North Hills Indians. We're having a tough time tonight against Upper St. Clair. But for us back here on the Woodland Hills Football Network, we'll host the Penn Trafford Warriors again, who suffered defeat tonight against the McKeesport Tigers.
So if things remain as they appear to be, Eric, it would be 2 0-2 teams going at it at Antamarino Stadium next week, as the North Hills Indians were defeated last week and are losers this evening as well.
Unless they make a miraculous comeback, which is doubtful.
There's the play of the game, in my opinion. Elijah Nesby.
I think we're going to have different plays. It was a great run by Elijah Nesby, but I'm going to have to go with the trick play.
Okay.
From Amir Brown to Scoop Smith. I think that was, I'd love to see something like that from the Wolverines, especially with how it played out. As you said, Amir Brown kind of bobbling it, but able to pull it in. And not only does he pull it in without fumbling, he's able to get the throw off to Scoop on the sideline. He's able to use his speed, break a tackle, get into the end zone for 6. Both great choices for play of the game, in my opinion. Either way, you can't go wrong.
Oh, you can convince me. You always seem to do that. Be able to get me to change my mind about things. And
well, we'll have to go to the rest of the crew to break the tie, I think. I think that's what we'll have to do.
okay, is it the Nesby run or is it the option pass? I'm sure they're discussing it wherever they are.
Of course. 8:48 remaining. First down, Gateway in Woodland Hills territory. Pitch to Reynolds. He gets by a couple Wolverines there, uses his speed to get up for about a 5 or 6 yard gain there. Nice run by Reynolds.
Yeah, just keep him in the field of play and let the clock work in your favor for the Wolverines. Down to 8.5 minutes remaining in the game. I'm sure the defense would love to put a goose egg up here against Gateway, even though they're a little undermanned.
Quick pass out by Gateway. Nice catch there along the sideline by Tristan Houston. And a nice pass from Sid Bryant. Big first down for Gateway. Yeah, Woodland Hills, of course, was shut out last year against Gateway in Monroeville, 21-0. Very close game all the way to the end. It was 7-0 until late in the fourth quarter. A couple late touchdowns by Gateway on an offensive touchdown and then a pick 6 made it 21-0. So I'm sure Woodland Hills would like to return the favor by shutting them out tonight. Sid Bryant with the keeper. Hit hard by Mijan Rose. One of the unsung heroes for the Wolverines the last couple of years, Jim, is Mijan Rose. He is such a big part of that defense, right in the middle, and you never see him draw any attention to himself. He's a big-time player, makes a lot of tackles, big-time contributor all across the board. He'll make a tackle, get right up, go back into his position. He's just a solid player, very humble, and you like to see that, especially from somebody who I said is such a big contributor. He's often in on every single play.
Mm-hmm.
Quick timeout here on the field. It'll be second down and about 8 as Charles Harper down for the Wolverines, getting some cramps worked out.
And Rose, Eric has commitments?
He has some offers from D1 schools. I believe Akron, Kent State in the mix there. I think after he's able to build some more film this year, it's only going to help him and help his cause because he's got the size, certainly. And he has plenty of film. As I said, he played a lot his sophomore year, all year last year as a junior. And now this year, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be in on that defensive line all season for the Wolverines.
As cramps continue on this not so oppressing evening of football, low humidity, just an absolutely perfect late summer evening for football here in Western Pennsylvania. A bunch of milling around here by the players, and is up and on his feet.
Definitely will be a good matchup next week in the trenches, as we talked about Penn Trafford. That's their bread and butter. Zach Tomasevich, I believe he is a West Point commit. Nice pass by Bryant there. Stopped by Harper, and a nice catch. Landon Aikens in on the tackle. But Harper really stopped on a dime there to make that catch. Reverses field, but he was hit hard by Zykir Moore and Landon Aikens of the Wolverines.
Yeah, he's taking some hard hits this season.
Sid Bryant in the shotgun. Approaching 7 minutes left in this one. Sid Bryant back to pass. He's getting rushed by Mijan Rose. Just out of the reach of Rose. He gets the pass off. Out of bounds, but they're going to say no catch. Did not know if he was able to get a foot down there. Antonio Nash and Mijan Rose were getting in on Bryant quickly there.
kind of missed that one. You see, glad we have such a great crew here to show us this replay. Oh, it's a little bit of a love tap, I would call that, from Rosen Nash. Really wasn't a late hit, but it was a little bit of a late push. Bryant takes the 4th down snap. He's looking to his left. Good coverage by the Wolverines, and they get in there for the sack. Jaden Estes in there, I believe, with Antonio Nash, as the Wolverine defense comes up big there to keep Gateway off the board. 27-0 is your score still. Yeah, the Wolverines had that sniffed out, and Bryant had no chance. It was well covered on the left side, and
Lejon Rose in there also.
Bryant just takes the sack, and that's tough. Tough for a second-string quarterback in at any case to come in and be able to play a team with the caliber of athletes that Woodland Hills has. And
he's done a great job. You got to give Sid Bryant credit. I don't know how much preparation he was able to have for this, if it was a last-minute thing or what, but you got to give the kid a lot of credit to come in and play in a tough environment like this. He's made some very good throws tonight for the Gators. Brandon Jones just staying on his feet. Refused to be taken down all the way for a 1st down run for the Wolverines.
Yeah, getting back to Bryant, that only makes him better if he has to step in for Birch in a situation that would be very meaningful, getting this time out on the field, regardless of the fact that they haven't scored. It certainly helps his status down the road should they need him.
That's a very good point, Jim. You know, it's not going to be easy for the Gators once they get into conference play, facing off against teams like Penn Trafford, an upstart team like Plum, Franklin Regional. So if Birch does miss any more time, this is very important that you're right, that Bryant is able to get this experience, real game experience, moving forward, and it allows Hall to kind of figure out what he's comfortable with and what they can do, and so they don't have to completely put the load on Jaquan Reynolds' back, because as we could see tonight, he is a playmaker big time for the Gators, always has been since his sophomore year, but they can't make everything Jaquan Reynolds in this offense. They have to spread it out a bit, and they've got the athletes to do it between Dyson Harper and I think Derek Selby would be another, probably right there in line when it comes to offensive threats for the Gators. Once they get Steve Jenkins back, I'm sure he can get in at receiver. He spent some time at receiver last year for the Wolverines, so I'm sure they're going to not only use him on defense, but use him on offense as well.
That's Mark Knight for the Gators getting stretched out. Knight is a 6 foot, 210-pound, listed as a tight end and linebacker. And he is a junior, so he'll be back to play again next year for the Gators.
It's getting a bit hairy out there in Derry. 26-21 the score in the 4th quarter. Greensburg-Salem closing in 21 unanswered points.
I like that little thing, Harry and Derry.
I hope you caught that.
Yeah, of course.
The Trojans will look to hold on as Greensburg-Salem Golden Lions making a big-time comeback. As we get a look at some earlier plays from the game. That trick play, my pick for play of the game. Amir Brown with the great pass to Scoop Smith. Scoop breaking that tackle of S.J. Moorhead into the end zone. Touchdown number 3 for Scoop of the night. 4 on the season. So the Wolverines now 1st down with about 6 minutes left in the game in the power pistol. Cam Walter gives the ball to Brandon Jones. He cuts upfield, breaks a couple tackles, brought down at about the 34-yard line for a 4-yard gain.
So I guess the crew have cast their ballots for your play of the game. Oh, here comes my... No, they're going to show that play that just occurred.
Wishful thinking on your part. Some other scores from around the Whitfield. South Fayette 31, West Allegheny 14. That one's a final. Peters Township beat up on Seneca Valley 48-7. If that score is correct, that is impressive. Penn Hills only beating Seneca Valley by 13 last week, so Peters Township bullying Seneca Valley. That's going to open some eyes right there. Pitch out to Brandon Jones. Makes one man miss on a nice little nifty juke. Scoots up forward for a nice first down. You know, Brandon Jones' running style reminds me a lot of J.K. Dobbins in the NFL. Just got that really low to the ground way of running, but he's able to make you miss, break out with that speed.
He's got to be getting close to 100 yards, if not over 100 yards.
I would think.
Just
we'll have to check with our stat man, Ken Mrazek, see what the stats say. About 57 or 58 yards last week for Jones on 15 carries, but I do believe you're correct, Jim. That number's going to be a lot higher this week. So, first down for the Wolverines.
A real workhorse in the backfield for the Wolverines.
In the power pistol, Walter, give to Jones. Getting some blocking up front, but it breaks down as Jones reverses his field. Able to still make something out of nothing, and a heady play there, sliding down inbounds to keep that clock running. You don't see that too often in high school, but a nice play by Jones. With only 4 minutes, it doesn't, of course, really matter if the clock stops with a 27-0 lead, but you still like to see that he's thinking about it.
Absolutely.
In a situation where it was maybe a one-possession game, he would do something like that to keep the clock running, and that's a very smart play by Brandon Jones as we approach 3.5 minutes left in this one. Some love to the smaller schools as well. McGuffey, 48, Ringgold, 22. Avella, a 7-point win over Bentworth, 22-15. Second down and a long 8. Give to Nesby. Le'Veon Bell-esque run there, kind of waiting for holes to open up. Following his blockers, being patient, gets a nice gain of about 6 yards there for Nesby.
You think Le'Veon Bell's boxing career has ended, or?
I think he's more into his music career now.
Oh, it's the music career.
Another big final, Bell Vernon, 40, Laurel Highlands, 0. Big win for Quentin Martin and his Leopards out there in Bell Vernon over Laurel Highlands. In the fourth quarter, Washington up over Clairton, 20-0. Third down here for the Wolverines. 2.5 minutes remaining. Walter goes under center. He's going to try a QB sneak, and that's a risky play at this point in the game. You don't want to get your quarterback hurt. I don't know if he just came up and called that on his own, called his own number because he saw a hole in the defense, but he's unable to get the first, and Woodland Hills has a 4th and short now. But you certainly don't want your quarterback to get hurt. You got big bodies all over him there, so just want Walter to be safe, because if the Wolverines are going to make some noise this season, you're going to need Walter behind center, as we see how that has hurt Gateway tonight without having Brad Birch. Fourth down.
2 minutes remaining in the contest.
I'm not sure if they're going to do it again. Walter is going to keep it. He's going to get the first. So that should end the ball game.
Scoop Smith playing official there and
giving the first down signal.
Yep. A happy group of Wolverines on the sidelines as the fans file out for this contest, which has been completed for all intents and purposes. Hey, join us next week when we'll be taking on Penn Trafford. We're here at the Wolverina, George Novak Field.
We will have all the coverage for you on the Woodland Hills Football Network, as always, as we welcome the Warriors. Cam Walter takes the snap and the knee.
And thanks again to our camera crew.
Camera crew and our production crew in general all do a fantastic job. This whole thing came together pretty last minute with the Woodland Hills School District. We thank Superintendent Dr. Castagna and Tymir Brown and Julian Turner in the athletic department for Woodland Hills for allowing us to be back with the Woodland Hills Football Network. And we thank our crew again, Mr. Larry George III, Joe Slick, Jeff Dotson on replay, Cam Aikens on camera, Jason Rickey on camera as well. They do a fantastic job. And you too, Jim. Always happy to have you next to me to call the Wolverines games. And tonight, the Wolverines are victorious, 27-0. It was rocky. It was up and down. They had some moments, certainly things they can fix, but you certainly like to get a victory. As you knew coming in, without Brad Birch on the field, without Remy Bose, without Steve Jenkins, Gateway certainly was shorthanded, but in high school football, anything can happen, and the Gators have a lot of athletes regardless. So Woodland Hills was able to do a good job. Every time the defense started to bend, they didn't break. It's an old cliche, we know, but it's very true. They were able to hold strong there anytime Gateway got close, keep them out of the end zone, keep them off the board in general, and the offense did a wonderful job to get points on the board when they needed to. Scoop Smith, 3 big touchdowns. Of course, the trick play was one of them from Amir Brown. The nice long touchdown run by Elijah Nesby showed his strength and ability to keep his legs moving. Just an impressive drive by the Wolverines overall there with the run from Nesby. And they had some hiccups, like we said, but they were able to collect themselves and not let Gateway come in and get an upset tonight.
And compliments to you, Eric, on fine play-by-play announcing, taking us through this 27-0 win. And this is exactly what Woodland Hills had to do here against an undermanned Gateway team. You know, you weren't going to be happy with a 14-13 score or something like that. You had to come in and really put your foot down on Gateway and move on next week when we're back here at the Wolf Arena for Penn Trafford, who has lost for the second consecutive week, but they'll come ready to roll. You know that.
Oh, they always do. John Ruane always has his guys ready to play. And like we said, Woodland Hills has had trouble in the past against Penn Trafford. It's been a while since the Wolverines have pulled off a victory against Penn Trafford. So we'd love to see Woodland Hills get that victory next week against the Warriors. Again, non-conference game, we know that, but it's been since, I believe, 2005 since the Woodland Hills Wolverines have beat Penn Trafford. So we're going to look for big things out of Scoop Smith, Cam Walter, the entire offense next week. But again, that defense is going to have to hold strong. Penn Trafford with some big dudes up front on their line, and they're going to want to bully the Wolverines. So we're going to see how Woodland Hills is able to handle that. We know that was a problem against Central Catholic. So much depth with those Vikings, and it's not much different when it comes to Penn Trafford. So we hope that Woodland Hills is able to keep the line of scrimmage, play tough up front, and spread the ball around, do much of what they did tonight in general, limit those mistakes, which Woodland Hills started rough with that, but they did a good job of pulling back, playing disciplined football for the rest of the game. We see some great highlights from tonight, that wonderful pass from Scoop Smith, from Cam Walter to Scoop Smith, as he was able to squeak in for the touchdown.
Beautiful throw by Walter there, just right into the seam. And an easy TD, Walter to Scoop Smith. I hope we hear a lot of that combination before this 2023 football season has ended.
I have no doubt we will. The trick play again from Amir Brown to Scoop along the sideline. A backbreaker for the Gators there as Scoop Smith went into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the night. So as we move forward, as we said, one more non-conference game for the Wolverines before they start conference play. They'll have a few more non-conference games throughout the season. But after Penn Trafford, they get into conference play, which is all about the playoffs. And as we know, it is not easy to get into the playoffs in 5A football. Only 8 teams. So you've got to be almost perfect to get in. Woodland Hills was able to get in last year after a big victory over the Penn Hills Indians right here at the Wolverina, 7-3. They pulled off a victory against Franklin Regional before falling to eventual WPIAL and state champion Pine Richland. However, Woodland Hills got into the playoffs, which is the first step, and it's all about that conference play. And these games that you play before that are always a good test. Tested themselves majorly against Central Catholic. Gateway, yes, shorthanded with a few starters. However, always a good team. So much talent and speed on that field for Gateway. But every time Woodland Hills looked like they might let Gateway in, they did a great job of standing up tall up front on defense and keeping the Gators out of the end zone, off the scoreboard, and able to take home the victory tonight.
In keeping fairness, we show highlights from both sides of the ball and with both teams, as Gateway with a good run back there on a kickoff. So hope you enjoyed this evening's broadcast. If you're a Wolverines fan, I'm sure you did.
You got to take a moment again to You should talk about the opposing team. Sid Bryant coming into a tough situation for Gateway. Did a nice job starting the quarterback. Like we said, they were unable to put any points on the board, but they got close several times. But Woodland Hills defense, it was nice to see them get more penetration tonight into the backfield and make Bryant uncomfortable. Starting what I would assume would be his first game at quarterback for Gateway. I don't think he's ever started another game, though I could be wrong. So it was a nice job there overall by the defense.
Yeah, he threw some nice balls and was able to hit some receivers throughout the evening. Just really kind of a human task for him to come in here as the backup quarterback and take the Gators on his back. But as previously mentioned, he was prepared and ready to go, and he will be the next time if he's needed to run the show for the Gators.
So as we look forward to next week one final time, we'll have all the coverage with the Woodland Hills Football Network here against Penn Trafford. It's going to be key to win that field position battle against the Warriors and stop that running game. They're going to try a plethora of quarterbacks, as I'm sure they did against Canamac. I'm sure they'll do it again against Woodland Hills. And the Wolverines have to be ready on defense to stand up tall against that tough offensive line front for the Warriors. We've been glad to have the call for you tonight as we roll through the final highlights of tonight's 27-0 victory for the Wolverines. And we hope that you will be back next week as the Wolverines get set to take on the Penn Trafford Warriors in non-conference play. Again, 27-0, Woodland Hills victorious tonight. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you right back here in Turtle Creek next week.